Welcome back to the Fantasy Endgame. I'm Pierre. He's Chris. And we're here to do start sit advice on a Friday night. That's right. It's a special week because, well, there's games on Saturday, 3 games to be exact. And we want to get you the best advice possible. Look, practices on injury reports are pretty much up to date. So we'll go over those in a second. Some players that you know are in and out. Start them if you need them. That's good advice, I think. Look, and there's a lot that's changed just in the last 24 hours. I'll tell you that because I know a lot of you guys join us on Tuesday night, right? We talk waivers, but of course, a lot of people want their start sit advice early. Some things have changed, and of course, we do those videos, go early, midweek, and you have to always be as current as possible because some things change. We'll get to in a second. Before we get to the news, let's start with the housekeeping. So, first of all, if you want to join us on Sunday morning, and next week it'll actually be Saturday morning, we do a private start sit show for our patrons. So that would be patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. As you see down below, the link is in the description. You can click it and check it out for yourself. Now, we will get to as many questions as possible. It is not possible for us to get to nearly all or probably even half of the comments that we're going to get tonight. So you might be aware of the super chat feature. What it's for is to get our attention, to let us know you really want your question answered. We will do all the super chats guaranteed. We'll get those in priority order and as many others as possible. But that's your fast pass. You put the super chat, you will definitely get your question answered. Put on air. You'll see it down below. We'll talk about it and hopefully help you out. All right. But again, consider for the price of some of these super chats, you could just be a patron and pay the same amount and get so much more that you can find out for yourself if you click the link. Also, we have a Discord that costs exactly $0.00. It is free. It is fun. It is interactive. We're in there every day, not only posting news, and I'll say it again, I get my news for NFL from the Fantasy Endgame Discord because somebody will have posted it within seconds of it breaking. We have a little news, I guess you can call it a team. Is it a team? Do we have a news team?
I would call it a team. Yes, we have a news team. They're awesome. They are on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a team. And they work to get paid $0.00. But that's okay. They do it because the same reason we started this channel, we love football and we love fantasy football and we actually like winning at fantasy football. So anyways, check out the Discord. It is easy to sign up. Even if you are of advanced age like we are, you can figure it out. It's not that hard. Okay, so link for that is also down below. We also now have Endgame merch. So if you want a fancy Endgame t-shirt, or it is hoodie season, or you want a hat, you can check it out. Bear Clothing is one of our partners, as you see, bearclothing.org, and you go to the bottom of the homepage and you'll see Fantasy Football Endgame. And there we are. All right. And the final way, of course, if you want to support us, hit the like button, subscribe. All right. It is week 15, which means playoffs. For pretty much everybody, you should be at some point in your playoffs. Maybe it's the first round. Maybe you're cruising. You have a bye this week. You should still be looking ahead. I always say that. But let's talk week 15, injuries. And the big one, well, it's really not a surprising one. Lamar Jackson is out. And I'll just skip ahead to tell you that Tyler Huntley is in. Okay, there was a question whether he would play, but Huntley is going to be the quarterback for the Ravens. Now, there's really not many pass catchers to care about in Baltimore, as there haven't been all year. But, Chris, does this make you feel any better about Mark Andrews?
I mean, I'd like to say yes, but no. I mean, yeah, no.
No, I mean, he's been bad.
It makes you feel better than if it was like Anthony. Who is it going to be? Anthony Brown? Is that who was their third stringer? Like, if it was him, it makes you feel a little bit better. But, yeah, no. Yeah,
if it was Anthony Brown, Andrews would be almost unstartable, like in any format. I feel like he's still somebody you want to start. And that's like, look, George Kittle last night, a good example of why you don't get too carried away with, last couple games he's been bad. Oh, it's a third string quarterback. He's still a stud, right? And tight end, I mean, unless you really got somebody better. But anyways, just so you know, Tyler Huntley officially quarterback for the Ravens. Mike White officially not quarterback for the Jets. Guess who it is? Just take a guess who's back. You thought
I
you
don't
wouldn't see
know.
Zach. You thought you would
Somebody
see
was
Zach
saying
Wilson.
I think somebody was saying early in the week, I'm really worried if Mike White doesn't play, it's going to be Zach Wilson. And everybody's like, no, it'll be Flacco. It'll be Flacco. Well,
I was one of those guys like, no, they're going to go back to Zach Wilson. Why? Who knows? I feel like this might be kind of like last chance for him, which is weird because he's only a second-year player. But come on, after seeing what Mike White has done in that passing offense, if he goes back in and does exactly what he did the last couple of games he played, I think that's it. But anyways, does this make? Let's just go ahead and answer some people's questions right now because we've answered this a lot in the Discord today, Chris. I know you loved Elijah Moore this week. I thought he was definitely a smart flex play. Are you completely off Elijah Moore?
Oh, I'm completely off Elijah Moore now. I mean, yeah, completely off him now with Zach Wilson for sure. Too risky now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you've got to pivot, got to find somebody else. Garrett Wilson, I think he's still startable, but I thought he was going to boom and go off. I'm definitely backing off of that right now. I mean, I still think you can start him, but I'm not as excited as you can imagine. Corey Davis is out. If that helps maybe a little bit, but we'll see. Dameon Pierce is out. Not a surprise there. He's hurt. Probably going to be some sort of a two-headed committee of Rex Burkhead and Dare Ogunbowale. And then Treylon Burks thought he might return. Nope. Concussion protocol. He is still out, which actually might help at the tight end situation, might help Chig Okonkwo. You're still getting Chiggy with it this week?
Yeah, I think yes, definitely like Chig now, especially with Treylon Burks out against Chargers. Yeah.
Not a bad matchup. He's kind of their top target, for whatever that's worth. Let's see. Treylon Burks is out. Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins are both out for the Texans. So another Chris Moore week, possibly. He was on a video that just dropped. So if you guys watch that, you'll know why. Chase Claypool is out. That leaves the Bears with a receiving core. Let's see if I can remember. Byron Pringle, Equanimous St. Brown, Dante Pettis, can't forget him, and then somebody else.
Maybe Velus Jones if he played.
Velus Jones. How can I forget Velus Jones? Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Cortland Sutton also out. Devontae Parker out. And then at quarterback, a couple of big names. Kenny Pickett is doubtful. And then Russell Wilson, this one, I guess kind of a surprise. It was surprising he cleared the protocol and then immediately was ruled out. Do you think this is, not that it really matters for fantasy, do you think this is more of a, we have to play it safe with our big investment and make sure he's all good to go? Or do you think it's you know what, we have an excuse to bench Russ because he sucks?
No, I think it's more about the investment. I mean, it's not like they have some young potential stud waiting in the wings. They got Brett Rippon waiting in the wings. It's not like, they're looking for an excuse to get Brett Rippon out there. We've seen Brett Rippon. Like, we know what he is. I think it's just them saying, like, look, we're paying you a lot of money. We're out of it this year. We have an excuse to not put you on the field and risk serious injury. We're going to take it.
I mean, it's not like they have a playoff run in them anyway, so why put them out there? It makes sense. And then finally, Hayden Hurst is out again, that calf issue. Now, as far as the Bengals pass catchers, you probably want to know about T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Well, unfortunately, they're both questionable. So Higgins did practice on Friday, but still questionable. Boyd apparently doesn't need a finger to catch, or not catch in his case lately. So Boyd, but also questionable. What do you do with T. Higgins? Because we've been snake bit twice now. I mean, do you risk it and just throw him out there because he did practice, or do you think we're going to have the rug pulled out from under his skin?
I think unless you have really good options, you have to play him. Like, just he's too good, and the upside is there. I know the risk of like him playing one snap and not going on the field again. But I mean, and like again, unless you have really good options, like I'm not gonna play, like Chris Moore over T. Higgins, like that's like too risky. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, if you have really good options, then sure, don't risk it.
And I already see a very, very good T. Higgins question. We'll put that one up soon. But
I'm sure we'll have a lot.
yeah. Okay. Hollywood Brown, questionable. Jacoby Myers, questionable. Ramondre Stevenson and Damon Harris, pretty much all the Patriots are questionable. How to handle that backfield, who knows? If Ramondre plays, yeah, you play him. But if not, I would say you can't trust Damon Harris at this point. Maybe you could throw out either one of Pierre Strong or Kevin Harris, but which one? Like, I don't know. At this point, I think I'm just leaving that backfield completely alone this week. Jeff Wilson, also questionable with that hip injury. Said he's going to do everything he can to give it a go. That doesn't sound optimistic, so I would probably not start him. Juwan Johnson, questionable again, trying to return from an injury. Kadarius Toney, forever questionable. And then some interesting ones here. 2 tight ends, Dallas Goedert and Darren Waller. For those who maybe didn't join us on Tuesday or haven't joined us yet, quick thoughts on those guys if they are active.
I think if Goddard's activated, he's a guy like you're rolling with him. I mean, maybe I'd play like Schultz over him because just because there may be some worry that Goddard coming off IR maybe doesn't get his full complement of snaps, but like maybe Schultz, maybe Njoku, and maybe Hawkinson. Those are probably the only tight ends I would consider over Goddard if he plays. Waller, on the other hand, I can consider a lot of tight ends over him.
Yeah. So my stance on Waller is I have no interest. Goddard, yes, if he's a full go. I mean, we have to hear there's no issues. We'll see. And then one last questionable, DJ Moore, in case you're wondering, is questionable. All right. I think we are ready for the comments. And let's see. I'm going to put that one up first because it's one of the first questions we had. This is going to be a tough one for a lot of people. From NB, T. Higgins or Garrett Wilson? Yeah, you can't trust either of the Zacks.
Yeah, Zacks. Those Zacks, man, they're sneaky. I think man, I mean, yesterday, actually, when I woke up this morning, this would have easily been like just play Garrett Wilson and don't risk it with T. Higgins. And then about 3 or 4 hours later, the Schefter bomb dropped that Zach Wilson is starting, and suddenly it became a decision that you shouldn't have had to make. Man, because if we knew, like if you told me T. Higgins is fine, 100% going to play all the snaps, I would say play T. Higgins over Garrett Wilson because we've seen Garrett Wilson averages 8 PPR points with Zach Wilson this year. He averages 20 without Zach Wilson. Like it's not like a slight downgrade here. It's a big downgrade. But I mean, unless we hear like T. Higgins is good, no limitations, he's fine, he's going to be 100%, probably just go Garrett Wilson and not risk T. Higgins doing the whole like one snap, getting you a 0 thing.
Yeah, I'm going Garrett Wilson here because, the risk with Wilson, he has a down game, you know what I mean? Compared to what he's been doing. The risk with T. Higgins is he literally doesn't play and gets you 0. Or he plays and then gets hurt or pull, whatever. So, I mean, there's always the hope. Maybe Zach Wilson with the time off, maybe worked on his craft. Maybe he's different mentality. Maybe he's better. I mean, because it's not talent. Obviously, you don't get picked number 2 because you're not a good quarterback. It's maturity, right? Mental readiness. I'm not saying that he all of a sudden did that in a couple of weeks' time, but it could be better, So, but anyways, I'm going Garrett Wilson. All right, Don. Hey guys, what are your thoughts about starting Chark, London, Mostert, Dillon, Pickens, Chiggy, or Kmet for the flex?
I mean, I don't think you can start Mostert. I don't think you can start Pickens. I don't think you can start Chark this week. I really don't. London is interesting because he did get really involved before the bye. And one thing about Desmond Ridder is he is a gunslinger. But also, we've never seen Desmond Ridder on an NFL field. What if he goes out there and like is sailing balls 5 feet over his head or bouncing it in the dirt? You know what I mean? Like London could get 10 targets and 2 catches because Ridder is just that bad. We don't know. Dillon is interesting, but it is a tough matchup against the Rams. I'm kind of leaning one of the tight ends because you got both of them, like especially Kmet. I might go Kmet, honestly, because who are the Bears gonna throw to? Like Equanimous St. Brown, Velus Jones, Byron Pringle. Like they already didn't really have a true alpha wide receiver. Now they really don't have any wide receivers. And it's against the Eagles, they're probably going to need to throw the ball a lot because they're probably going to be losing. So and we know Kmet's got touchdown upside. I think I'm going Kmet out of this group.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. Chark had been good the last couple weeks, not this week, the matchup. Mostert, no way. Dillon, no thanks. Pickens, we don't even know who is going to be quarterback for the Steelers yet. They haven't announced it.
No way.
Chig is interesting because now Traylon Burks out again. He's been good, but I think Kmet, for the reasons you said, has more upside. London, to me, is probably the highest upside play, but also the riskiest.
Yes.
Based on the fact it's New Orleans, I don't know. I think Kmet is definitely in a good spot. I feel like London is the guy who has the highest ceiling, and he's the one I might, since this is kind of a swing for the fences pick anyways, at your flex.
Yeah.
I might go London, but Kmet is probably the safer pick there for sure. It's between those two guys. So
I agree.
Roberto is with us early. What's up, Roberto?
What's up, Roberto?
Friday nights is when you're on, when you're active. All right. Let's see. How about Tyrone Jenkins? Tyler Huntley or Matty Ice?
I'm going Matty Ice against the Vikings. They're indoors. Minnesota terrible against the pass, but Minnesota will probably put points on the board and force the Colts to throw quite a bit. I think he can reach 40 pass attempts here. Tyler Huntley I'm going Matty Ice.
Yeah, the thing with Huntley, besides not really having anybody to pass to, is he's not a great passer. And then at Cleveland, you think, well, this is not a bad matchup. Cleveland's defense has been better lately for sure. It's their run defense that's just bad, which is why I think Dobbins is definitely startable this week. I think Huntley is a floor play because of his rushing ability. I don't feel a big game from him. So he's kind of the put him in there, get you a few points to scrape by kind of guy. Matty Ice is more of the ceiling play. Could have a big game. There's no guarantees, of course, but yeah, I think I give the slight edge to Matt Ryan. All right, let's see. Let's get to our first super chat. Peter wants to know Aaron Jones or Dalvin Cook.
It's got to be Dalvin Cook this week. I think it's at home, good matchup. Yeah, I mean, I kind of sort of like Aaron Jones this week, but the Rams, not the best spot for him. I think it's got to be Dalvin Cook.
I think it's got to be Dalvin Cook. I think Jones was listed as questionable, a little banged up, but he should be fine. He's always sort of banged up. Yeah, I think Dalvin Cook is the play here. Solid running back. No worries here. You're good. This one, not as easy. Here's another one. Garrett Wilson or Jalen Waddle, two guys who are stud receivers that now we have reasons to be concerned. We haven't really mentioned it yet, but Buffalo could be playing in this, what is it, the lake effect and the snow and all this stuff. So who are you lower on, I guess?
Yeah, this is one game where I actually am a little worried about the weather. Could be freezing cold, wind, snow. Man. But I think I still go Waddle. I don't know. Like, again, if Mike White was playing, I would say Garrett Wilson definitely. I would definitely go Garrett Wilson over Waddle. But with Zach Wilson there, I mean, like we've seen, like people were dropping Garrett Wilson when Zach Wilson was his quarterback. People were dropping him. He was that bad. Like, people are forgetting this. Like, it's Detroit. I mean, it's Detroit. I don't think he'll be that bad. I think he's still startable, but I just think Waddle has more upside this week. I'm going Waddle.
It's really close. We're really close again with both these guys. I mean, you kind of have to throw the last couple of weeks out the window because Wilson was dominant, but, that was with Mike White. Waddle has done nothing. But one game he didn't barely play because of a leg injury, and I don't think he was 100% last week. It's the weather's that wild card. I don't know really what to expect with Waddle this week. I kind of feel a little bit better about Garrett Wilson, just a little bit. I think because it's Detroit, I guess I'm assuming Zach Wilson won't be as terrible as he was a couple of weeks ago. And I wish I could be higher on my Waddle, but it's really close here. It's really close. I might give the slight edge to Wilson, though. And I'm realizing I might be a little overly optimistic on Wilson this week, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you are.
All right, Alfredo, full PPR. Gabe, Deontay, or Lazard?
I can't believe it, but I think you got to go Lazard out of this group. I cannot start Deontay Johnson with whoever the terror. Like, it might be Mason Rudolph at QB. No way. Gabe Davis in potentially bad weather. Josh Allen hasn't looked the same since that elbow injury. No way I could start him. Look, the one thing about the Rams, they've been fairly weak against the pass. Like, they're still really good against the run, which is why I'm not super high on AJ Dillon. But they've been kind of like, you can take advantage of them against the, with the pass, and especially like big plays and that. So, and they're in Green Bay. Out of this group, I'm going Lazard.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is why you need help, because these are all not the best choices this week. You can't start Deontay. He's barely done anything all year, and now you're down to either second or third string quarterback. And then Gabe I just said I'm worried about Waddle. You think I feel good about Gabe? No way. So I think you have to kind of by default start Lazard. And then Don Fuller had a super chat, or Dan Fuller, I'm sorry, down below. And here's the question: Montgomery or Dobbins?
Oh, man. Do you want the healthy guy who's going to get the volume in the bad matchup? Or do you want the unhealthy guy who may or may not get the volume in the great matchup? That's what this is really coming down to. Because, look, Dobbins, like, Gus Edwards had almost as much work as J.K. Dobbins last week. I don't think people realize that. Like, it wasn't like Dobbins just came in and owned this backfield. Like, he had, 2 more carries and Gus Edwards, and that was it. He just had, the big run and the touchdown. But, man, Monty's in a tough spot this week against that Eagles run defense that is suddenly really good. And I could see game script going against them. Like, if the Eagles are up, big, suddenly they're, but he does catch dump offs, and Dobbins, we know, probably won't catch any passes. I feel like I'm going to say Montgomery and you're going to say Dobbins. That's what I feel like is going to happen.
Yeah, it's usually like 80-85% of the time we pretty much are in sync here, and I think we're starting off 3 or 4 disagreements. Look, Montgomery, the thing is, it's tempting. You look at the fact, well, Philly, the run defense has been kind of their Achilles heel if they have one, but that was for a short stretch. That's out the window now. And then you can say, well, they're missing all their receivers, right? Now Claypool's out, and they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to go through Monty. They might not be able to, like you just said. How much can they really commit to just sitting and running? And so Monty will get you a few points from catches, but I'm going to chase the guy who, not that I'm expecting a 44-yard touchdown or whatever, but I'm going with Dobbins. I feel like there's still a ceiling there this week. But, you do what you like. Michael, safe to bet on Kamara over White and Pacheco? Not really.
I feel like we haven't had any easy questions tonight. Every question. I mean, I can say definitely Pacheco over White this week. So we can eliminate White, I think. I would play I would play Kamara over White. I would gamble on the Falcons defense, the Kamara coming out of the bye. It's Pacheco is where I'm not sure if I go Pacheco or Kamara. That's where I'm close. I mean, it's crazy to think that it's not Alvin Kamara against the Falcons. Because it should be no brainer Alvin Kamara against the Falcons, but it's just not. It's just not. So
no, not this year.
I think if it's me, I'm going Pacheco. like, how can you feel good about Kamara? Like, look, if he looks good this week, then yeah, you could feel good next week. But Pacheco against Houston, I think that's where I'm going.
I'm going Pacheco too. Look, I think we had him in the boom video. It's a very obvious smash spot. Sometimes it's too obvious. You have to actually follow up. Yeah, Pacheco's the guy going against Houston's defense. Should be positive game script. Go Pacheco. Look, maybe Kamara does, come back strong because they had the bye. Dennis Allen said something about, oh yeah, we need to figure out how to get Alvin Kamara more involved. Like, really, you think maybe now, like, this is a good time to start using him? I don't have that much confidence that they'll figure it out. Like, maybe he has a better game, and I think again you could start him, but I'm just going Pacheco. I'm not worrying about what Kamara does. Let's see. Okay, here's an easy one before we get to the next super chat. I'll give you an easy one.
I need the easy one.
Christian Kirk or Chris Moore?
Like, I like Chris Moore this week, but not over Christian Kirk. You got to play Christian Kirk.
Same. You talked about Chris Moore in one of the other videos, but yeah, Christian Kirk. I think I might bump him up to like top 20 at receiver this week. It is a good spot for him. I know you never know what to expect from Kirk. This could be one of his big weeks. We'll see. All right, and then I like to post these two. Not a question. The test just says, thank God I have a bye, because you don't have to worry about these questions.
It's always nice. Jason, I only got 2 buys this week, this year, unfortunately.
And then Jason just saying thanks. All right.
You're welcome. Appreciate you, Jason.
All right, and then we got Healing Meditation. Welcome back. Need some of that after Sunday, especially. Will JT deliver a day after Christmas miracle for my fantasy team and alive for week 16? Already looking ahead. Okay, you must have a bye too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, like, does JT play on Monday night next week? Is that what it is? I'm assuming. Hopefully, you won't even need him. Hopefully, you already have your matchup wrapped up and you won't even need him. You won't need the Christmas Day miracle. But I think JT will be fine. I think he'll be good.
I mean, look, they're playing this week, playing Minnesota. He should be okay to have a big game. Look, next week it's the Chargers. I mean, that's a pretty good spot for a running back. We know this. And the week after that, really, it's the Giants. That's another really good spot for running backs. They're giving up some of the most yardage per carry to running backs. So JT, no worries. I mean,
yeah,
I can't guarantee he'll be like the top running back during the fantasy playoffs, but I still think by the time it's over and said and done, you won't be disappointed if you draft him in the first round. Although you probably should have drafted Justin Jefferson first instead.
Yes.
All right.
We all should have.
Let's go back to this one, just for those who are Cole Kmet or Mark Andrews.
I'm going Kmet this week. Like I said, like, it's not the best matchup for him against the Eagles, but he's basically going to be their wide receiver 1. Like, he's got to be their top target, you would think. And we already know, like, that connection is there with Fields. He gives chances to score. I think you got to go Kmet this week.
Yeah, in this case, and I'm not just sitting Andrews for anyone.
Yeah.
But with Kmet, yeah, you got to feel really good. Again, tight ends thrive when the other receivers on the team are just subpar or not involved. And I mean, come on. We already listed who the Bears have a receiver. Kmet is going to be the leading receiver for whatever that's worth on the Bears. He's in a good spot. He had been really good as long as Fields was healthy. I would go Kmet for sure. Humberto Juarez, welcome back also. With Zach playing, does that make Knight a good flex? So this is interesting. How does this affect the running game? Because Donovan Knight had been really good. What do you think?
Well, that's another thing, like, people forget. In the games with Zach Wilson, other than like the last couple games where they were just getting destroyed and they had to throw it like late in the game, the Jets go way more run heavy with Zach Wilson. Like, they just don't let him throw a lot, right? I already thought Knight was a good flex, so I guess he's more of like a safer flex now. Because especially like Detroit on the road against New York, I don't expect one of those like 30-point Detroit offensive games. So I don't think this is going to be a game where it's going to be the Jets are going to be getting blown out in the fourth quarter, and Zach Wilson's going to have to throw it, 20 times in the fourth quarter. So yeah, I think Knight's a solid flex play this week.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I mean, he's borderline RB2 as it had been, and now you kind of have to back off a little bit. But one thing though, and I want to check into, is because somebody pointed out in the Discord, the Lions haven't just been better; they've been really good against the run for the last few weeks. However, they did it over the last 4 weeks. Number 2 in terms of limiting fantasy points to running backs. Second best run defense over the last 4 weeks. Not kidding. And if you're saying, oh, schedule, right? A lot of times it is a schedule. But no, look, here's who they've played. Dalvin Cook last week, 23 yards on the ground. He did score a touchdown. Travis Etienne, 54 yards. Let's see, before that, Saquon Barkley. Remember Saquon Barkley? 22 yards against the Lions. They've been shutting down stud running backs for a while now. So you've got to be a little worried about Bam Knight. But I think he's still startable because he's going to get the volume. I don't feel great about him this week, to be honest, because Lions, if there's ever a team where they can look and say, yeah, let's just focus on stopping the run, I think they can do that with this team.
Yeah.
So I can't lie. I'm definitely nervous about Knight, but I think he is still flex worthy. So I guess not a good flex, an okay flex. And then Dallas Goedert or Schultz?
Well, even though I do like Goddard, I think just coming off IR and Schultz is in such a good spot this week, I think just play it, I guess, safe and go Schultz.
Yeah, I think it's playing it smart and go Schultz because good spot. You have nothing to worry about with him. He's in a great matchup. I like Schultz a lot this week, as you guys have probably already seen. So I'm going Schultz. He's one of the handful of guys I'm not going to worry about. Royland, welcome back, Royland. And so PPR, 1 RB and 1 to flex. Rashad, Knight, Evans, Dillon, Slayton.
Man, I'm going to say I'm flexing Evans. I don't care. I know he's been bad. I know it's Cincy. But one of my choices are Rachaad White, Bam Knight, AJ Dillon, and Darius Slayton. I'm just going to gamble on Mike Evans and the upside. I mean, let's not forget last week he had a huge touchdown called back by a holding penalty. It's not like he hasn't been close. So running back's a little tougher for me. Because look, Dillon's in a tough spot. Knight's in a sneaky tough spot, like you just said.
Yeah,
we know Rashad.
I love any of these running backs.
Yeah, and Rashad's splitting with Lenny. But I think I give Knight the slight edge.
Yeah, I think based on volume,
yeah,
I think you go Knight. I would love to say Rachaad White, but not this week. Not this week. Okay, so we'll agree there. Knight and Evans, and then also PPR 2 running backs in the flex: Monty Pacheco, Ramondre, if he plays, Rashad, Knight, Singletary, Hollywood, and Olave.
All right, I'm going to say this one's easier for me because, I'll say it's easier if Ramondre plays.
Yeah.
Because then your 2 running backs are Pacheco and Ramondre for sure. And then my flex is Olave. I'm not completely out on Hollywood this week, but with Colt McCoy against Denver, if I can bench Hollywood, I'd like to. And you've got Olave going against the Falcons, so you got to feel good about that. So Pacheco and Ramondre, and then Olave at the flex. And then I would say if Ramondre is out, I mean, I'd probably go Montgomery over these guys.
There we go. Back on track. 100% agree. And this one was easier. Yeah, Olave, you have to flex. And then Pacheco, I like Ramondre if he plays. If not, go Monty. I'm almost completely out on Hollywood, I think, because he's questionable. Remember, he's been banged up. And what I saw today was something like he's trying to tough it out. And this is a guy who actually doesn't miss games. He's been on the injury report a lot in his career, but he actually doesn't miss games. But that's what I worry about. He's going to go out there and not be 100%. And again, going against a defense that happens to be number 1 against receivers with a backup quarterback. I'm not loving Hollywood at all this week. So
I will say though he was questionable with an illness. So that doesn't worry me as much. It's not like he has some kind of
Yeah,
you know.
but I didn't like him in the
But the
first.
matchup, I mean, the matchup in Colt McCoy is what really makes me
Yeah,
nervous.
that's just kind of like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
All right, Emmanuel. What do I do? White got hurt. Do I risk benching Garrett Wilson for J.K. or McKinnon?
No, see, I can't bench him for those guys. Yeah, I'd rather just roll with Garrett Wilson. I know it's Zach Wilson and it sucks, but like McKinnon, yeah, but McKinnon is like a high upside, high risk play, right? Because he doesn't get a lot of volume, and I really feel like last week we saw the best Dobbins we're going to see this year. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. So, yeah, I think you still got to go with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Wilson. And Dobbins does have some upside, but I'm not putting him over Garrett Wilson. And I'm going to assume you're playing at least half or full PPR. Yeah, I'm not going to bench Wilson altogether for guys like that. And you're saying you bench Knight for Najee. I think that's fine. We just talked about Knight not in a great spot. Najee, I mean, maybe maybe having Mason Rudolph or Mr. Trubisky in there means more Najee. They won't pass as much. I don't know. maybe not.
Maybe. But I still go Najee overnight. Yeah, I still go Najee overnight.
And good advice here before we get to the next super chat, Silver Rapture. Go for the gusto. Start what you think you need. Don't just go with a name. Exactly why. Yeah. I know long ago you should have thrown out where you drafted them, what they did last year. Forget that. Like, don't look at the name.
Like, his ADP was this, his ADP. Like, who cares? No one's winning their games based on ADP. Put in the guys you think are going to score the most points. I don't care. Like, I picked up Chris Moore off waivers last week. I'm probably starting him this week in one league because it's a deep league. I didn't even draft the guy. I don't care. He's the number one receiver for the Texans against the Chiefs. I'm starting him.
And there's every week there are players who nobody has, or at least nobody's starting in fantasy, that outscore studs. It happens every week. Yeah. You just don't notice it because you don't pay attention to those guys because nobody has them in fantasy. If you pick the right guy, you win. That's the tricky part, but of course, that's why we're here. That's kind of our job. All right, Cornelius. Welcome back, Cornelius Terry. What do I do with Mike Evans? Kind of already talked about him. Take a chance with Chark or Moore.
No, not those guys, because you really want to start DJ Chark on the road in New York against Sauce Gardner and that secondary. No, thank you. You really want to start Elijah Moore with Zach Wilson? No, thank you. No, the only the thing with Elijah Moore was like, okay, Mike White and Detroit. Now you're only banking on the defense. Now you're really just banking on the matchup being so good. Yeah, I'm just going Mike Evans still.
Yeah, Moore is the guy that takes the biggest hit with Zach Wilson. I mean, we know that he like refused to throw it to him. That's the guy I'm worried about. Like Garrett Wilson, I am slightly concerned about. Elijah Moore, I just feel bad for. Really, that's why I feel bad for him. And DJ Chark, no way off on Goff. So I wouldn't plug in some random guy from waiver wires. If you already have Chark or Moore, like you're looking somewhere lower than that on the waivers, no, just I know he's killing you, but stick with Evans. He's better than those guys. And then Antonio, welcome back also. Okay, guys, said I gave you a softball last time. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, well done. Well played. That is definitely a tough one, man. I think I know where I lean, but Christian Watson or Devontae Smith?
Yeah, it's not really tough for me. I'm going Christian Watson, and I like Devonta Smith. But I will say there's one thing that concerns me about Devonta Smith this week, and it's not Dallas Goedert coming back. It's the temperature. Is it going to be too cold for Devonta Smith?
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's my one worry with Devonta Smith. But no, I really like Devonta Smith. But Christian Watson to me is a guy like I doubted him for like 2 or 3 games, and then I did like a complete 180, and I said like, you just have to roll with this heater for however long it lasts. So yeah, you just look. Maybe it's this week that the wave comes crashing down, and we all go down with it. But I'm going down with the ship. I'm going down. Like, because if he goes off again this week, you're going to regret not playing him. You got to play Christian Watson.
Yeah, I mean, the worry is that now defenses and coaches, they're like, okay, we need to stop Christian Watson. Like, we need a game plan around him. And so they double him. You know, they run these different looks and they try to just take him out. But he's also a guy that just give him the ball in the open field, and then all that, you know, goes out the window because he just runs by you. So, yeah, I think you have to start Christian Watson. It's close. I like DeVonta Smith. Yeah, I forgot about the cold weather thing. You remember what was that earlier in the year? And I forget where they were playing, and he was like, "It's too cold for me. I can't play."
Now we're the guy has no body fat, right? The guy has no. He's just like skin and bone. So
this is true. This is true. All right, but that was definitely a harder one. Definitely harder. So, all right, Sarp made the playoffs. Congratulations. That's what we want. You know, you're with us on a weekly basis. So this is a tough question in his opinion at flex: Juju, Etienne, or Judy?
I mean, can you really start Judy with Brett Rippon? I mean, maybe that Judy Brett Rippon connection will be there, but I'm not banking on it.
I'm not.
Etienne's so hard to trust. I think I'm going to go with Juju again in a good spot against the Texans. Look, I know we like Pacheco, but it's not like the Chiefs are going to be like, oh, it's the Texans, let's run it 40 times. They're still going to throw the ball 30 to 35 times. Like, it doesn't matter who they play. They're going to chuck it 30, 35 times. I'll go Juju out of this group.
Yeah, I'll go Juju. You know, I'm down on Etienne. Major trust issues. I'm not starting Judy still. It's Juju for me. They will pass the ball. They will definitely pass the ball. And I think this one's tough too. Thrive. Oh, that's not what I was going for. But yes, hit Hollywood Brown. All right, Thrive. Start D-Hop or Amari Cooper.
I mean, I do like Cooper this week. I do think he has boom potential, but I can't sit D-Hop. I mean, I know it's Denver, but he's so good. And we saw even last week, he almost had that touchdown. He still had a nice game. And we saw in the games earlier in the year, like the couple games where Colt McCoy started, D-Hop was totally fine. In fact, he was more than fine. He was great. So, I mean, yes, Cooper could go off, but Cooper could also maybe Deshaun Watson just likes Peoples-Jones more. Like maybe, you know what I mean? And maybe Peoples-Jones just continues to be the guy for Deshaun Watson. So I still roll with D-Hop.
I mean, yeah, I think Hopkins will be fine. It's not so much that I would want to sit D-Hop. And there's risk, but you know what? I'm feeling this could be a big Cooper week. My gut tells me the Browns do well. So I'm going to roll with Cooper because I feel like there's the upside there. I think Hopkins is definitely the safer play, and I think he will be fine. But I don't know. I'm feeling a Cooper big, huge week, and this is a week where I want that. So, all right. And our boy Quinn is back. Do we still feel good about the following? Let's see. Curious if Schultz is ahead of Njoku. Is Schultz ahead of Njoku, first of all?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, he is, yes.
Yeah, he is for me too. Love Schultz this week. Okay, so he's got Garrett Wilson, which is why he's asking. So Mike Williams, Lamb, JT, Chubb, Schultz, Wilson on the bench, Etienne, Watson, DeVonta Smith, and Njoku.
Well, I think you got to play Williams and Lamb. They're like musts this week to me.
Yeah.
You got to play JT and Chubb. I know Chubb's been bad, and maybe he'll be bad again this week, but you still got to play him. Like, you still got to play him, I think.
Yeah, over Etienne.
Yeah, but look, I had Christian Watson in over Garrett Wilson, even with Mike White. Now with Zach Wilson, I'll easily put Christian Watson in over Garrett Wilson. No problems from me.
Yeah. Watson, I will put over Garrett Wilson. We just talked about DeVonta Smith. All these guys are kind of close. Watson's the guy I want in there. So you're thinking Quinn is right. You should be a little worried about Garrett Wilson. Since you have Watson on the bench, yes, I'll go Watson over.
This is a great team, by the way.
It is. Dez, Ev, Dak, or T-Law?
Definitely Dak for me this week. Trevor Lawrence, not the best spot for him against Dallas. So I like Dak this week. I'm going Dak.
I'm going Dak too. I know Lawrence has been pretty good, putting up big numbers, passing a lot. He might have to pass a lot again this week. I worry again about that pass rush. Quarterbacks are doing great against Dallas. I'll go with Dak. He's been solid. And then we have Ryan Watkins. 1.5 PPR. Swift, White, Pacheco, Algier.
Pacheco is a safe play. But look, Swift not on the injury report at all this week. Not Wednesday, not Thursday,
True.
not Friday. He got that week of rest last week. Yes, he played, but it was basically like a week of rest. Now his ankle's 100%. What happened the last time we saw a healthy Swift? He went off. Oh, man, it's hard for me to bench Swift, but it is half PPR. Pacheco in a great spot. I'll say Pacheco is safer. And Pacheco does have, decent upside this week. But Swift, man, Swift could go off this week. So, but I get it if you're like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm playing Pacheco. I totally am fine with that.
And no, I feel exactly what you're feeling with Swift. It's like, okay, well, maybe this is the week since he didn't play last week and he's going to go off this week. You never know. But what worries me is the matchup. Obviously, the Jets a pretty good defense. So I think I would still, especially this is half PPR, I'll go Pacheco. If it was full PPR, it would be a lot more of a struggle for me to keep Swift on the bench. But yeah, I'm going to go Pacheco here. I just hope Swift doesn't have one of those weeks, then you regret not playing him. All right, Phil, Fiorentino, Goddard over Njoku if he plays for sure.
Again, I probably still go. I mean, I know it's hard to bench Goddard. I mean, unless we hear he's good, no limitations, he's going to play every snap, totally fine, then I'd probably go Goddard. But if we don't hear that, then I'll probably just go Njoku. Just because you never know. Guys coming back, first game back from injury, sometimes they're limited. They don't play their full, they don't play. Maybe he's only going to play 60% of the snaps or something. So I think I'd probably still go Njoku.
Yeah, I think I would go Njoku just because that's kind of like where the line is, for tight end. You have the guys who are relatively safe / good. You got, of course, Kelsey, Kittle, Schultz is in there. And, well, Andrews should be in there. He's not in there this week, but anyways. And then Njoku. And then after that, it's like everybody else, right? And Goddard should be at the top of, that group. But we don't know what he's going to do this week. That's the problem. It's I wish I could just say, yeah, he's got his full, he's going to get a full, set of snaps and he's good to go. No worries. We don't know that. I would go Njoku for now. Brandon, struggling with flex spots. Pick 2, Elijah Moore, Chris Moore, Jerick McKinnon, Austin Aguilar.
Interesting.
Michael Gallup, and Chig Okonkwo.
All right, well, I'm going to say you can eliminate Elijah Moore now, and you can eliminate Nelson Aguilar.
Yes.
I'm going to say out of this group, you can eliminate Chig. Even though I like Chig, he's still a tight end. They still do have Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook at Keenan. It's not like Chig is going to get 15 targets or something crazy. So for me, it's between Moore, McKinnon, and Gallup. I think Moore is honestly the guy I feel the best about because we know Cooks and Collins are out again. He's going to be their number 1 receiver. It's Kansas City. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot. They don't have Dameon Pierce. They're not. Even last week when they were winning the whole game, he got, 11 targets. Now against KC, when they're probably going to be losing by double digits the whole game, he might get 15-plus targets. So I think I'm going Chris Moore's the guy I feel the best about. And now we're talking about 2 guys, 2 boom-bust guys, right? These guys are total boom-bust guys. And I like them both.
Yeah, Moore to me is the guy who stands out.
Yeah. Chris Moore, not Elijah.
Chris Moore. Now, we would have said Elijah Moore and Chris Moore and be done with it, but
now
no more. I'd probably go Gallup as my second one.
That's where I was leaning. Yeah, that's where I was leaning.
The thing with McKinnon is he's a pass catching running back. That's what he does. He barely carries the ball. It's a game that you figure they're not going to need him as an outlet. They're going to be able to just run the ball, which is why I like Pacheco. So you don't know what you're getting with Gallup. Maybe nothing, but I'll take a chance.
Yeah.
And then Kathy Weigel from Hilo Photo and Video. Lost right. Murray. We got Watson, Lawrence, Jones. Who do you like best there?
Definitely Watson. Definitely Deshaun Watson this week. At home, looked decent last week. Didn't look great, but he looked decent. He looked good enough that you could feel better about him this week at home against Baltimore. Going to Deshaun Watson.
I'm going to Deshaun Watson too. Then can I trust Chubb?
You kind of have to. There's certainly trust issues with Chubb right now, but you gotta still play him. You gotta still play him. Now, if he bombs again this week, if he's then we have to really panic because it's okay, maybe it is because Deshaun Watson is back, and maybe we only saw the Chubb we saw because it was Jacoby Brissett. So, but you still gotta roll with him. You still gotta roll with him.
You have to because he always has scoring upside. He always is a guy who's gonna get fed the ball. If the Browns do well at home, he's going to get the ball a lot. I'm not worried about Baltimore putting up a bunch of points and, forcing them to pass. So I think it's just actually going to be a big Cleveland week at home. Just another step towards Deshaun Watson becoming, the type of quarterback he's been in the past. So, yeah, you have to start Chubb, and on waivers, go Watson. All right, then we got Blizzo Gotti, the God. I like that. QBs are Tua and Mike White. Who's going to start Mike White? All right. So do you just go with Tua or you look on waivers?
I mean, it depends who's on waivers, but I'm not going to put in, Matt Ryan over Tua or somebody like that. Yeah. So I think you just I probably went to go Mike White over Tua. I mean, I guess I could see it, but I don't know if I would have done that. So yeah, I think you're just rolling with Tua.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Tua. Probably not a guy if Deshaun Watson's out there. Okay, then start Deshaun Watson. Maybe Trevor Lawrence, but I'm probably just going Tua. And then McLaurin over Higgins.
I mean, I guess so. There's just so much risk with Higgins, right? Again, but even then, do we even buy it? If they come out and say he's fine, he's gonna do we even still trust it? I don't even know. So you probably just go McLaurin.
I'm going McLaurin because I feel pretty good about McLaurin last time played the Giants was good. Higgins, just don't know. Just don't know. If you have a guy like this who is solid and you're gonna get points from him, I'm going with it. Again, when you get lower, like a Chris Moore, okay, no, I won't put Chris Moore over T. Higgins, although he could outscore him as well. But
if T. Higgins gets a 0 again, a lot of people outscore.
Well, yeah, exactly. All right, so Vorador wants to know which one of you put Pollard at 5 on the short. So he's talking about our rankings. So do rankings and put them out there for the patrons. I do the rankings. Chris doesn't like ranking. And yeah, I put Pollard 5 because he's in a great spot. Do you think that's too high for him as far as running backs this week?
No, I think people are still, Tony Pollard is the RB2 since week 8 behind only Josh Jacobs. And he's only 2 points behind Josh Jacobs. And he's played one less game. And he's only 2 points behind Josh Jacobs. You guys need to stop sleeping on Tony Pollard. He's a top 5 running back. We probably should have put him in the no doubt must start. You have to, if you have 20, we probably should have put him in there. He's been on fire. Yeah, totally fine with it.
I mean, you get against Houston, you're like, okay, well, yeah, it was Houston. It isn't just against Houston. He smashed almost every game. it doesn't matter that Zeke's back. They're both doing great. And it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, I got him 5 because he's going to be a stud again. So, all right, let's see. Next one is Ben. What's up? I'm worried about my QBs and RBs. That's not good. All right, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields at quarterback.
I'm going Fields. Like, yeah, I know you see it's the Eagles and you're terrified, but it's the Cowboys. And we know Fields at any moment can rip off a huge run. He can run for a touchdown. I mean, sure, Trevor Lawrence sometimes sneaks in a touchdown, but he's not going to rip off a 50-yard touchdown run like Justin Fields can. So I'm going Fields over Lawrence.
Yeah, I know you can't feel great about Fields. Like, it's not a great spot for him this week. And, of course, now he's down to that receiving core we've talked about, but it doesn't matter. Like, you're not worried about his passing output anyways. If he runs like he's been running, and look, maybe he runs more because of that.
Yeah.
And then running back, you got Rachaad White, D'Onta Foreman.
I'd probably go Foreman. I mean, it's just like White. Yeah, White probably has a higher floor if this is PPR, which doesn't say. But if it's PPR, White probably has a higher floor because we know he's going to catch 5, 6, 7 passes. But I mean, outside of that, he's not going to give you a whole lot. You know, Foreman is still getting the work. It's not a terrible spot for them this week. I'm going Foreman.
I'm going Foreman too. Bad matchup, splitting time. Rachaad White not going to have a big week, I don't think. Got to worry a little bit about Chuba Hubbard all of a sudden looking better than Foreman last week, but I think Foreman will still see enough volume. You know, it's almost going to be kind of like a Pollard Zeke situation there, right? But yeah, I would go Foreman. And then Jacob Counterman, just dropping by to say thanks. First year ever doing fantasy, joined 3 leagues, placed first and second in 2 of those leagues. Awesome.
Nice. Well done. Not done yet. I mean, unless you guys are already finished, but I assume you're not done yet.
Yeah. It's not conceding, so hopefully you still have 2 championships to win.
Yes.
All right, Ramu. Welcome back, Ramu. 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a flex. Okay, so at RB, Pollard. Yes. Swift, Harris, McKinnon. Who do you?
I'm going Pollard and Swift. I mean, Harris. Okay. I mean, maybe if he was healthy and Ramondre was out, but it sounds like Ramondre might play. Who knows if Harris is even healthy? I don't even know. I don't know if it's Damien or Najee. Actually, it might be Najee. But either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going Pollard and Swift. Just too much upside for Swift. Not again. He wasn't on the injury report at all this week. The last time we saw him we've only seen him not on the injury report the whole time, like 4 games this season or 3 games. And he's been an absolute beast in all 3 of them. So I'm going Pollard and Swift.
I'm going Pollard and Swift too. And wide receiver, here's where the decision gets tough. We do have a flex, but still 2 receivers. You got Jefferson, Higgins, Waddle, Watson, and DPJ.
You're Justin Jefferson could be playing like the all-star secondary, and you're still playing Justin Jefferson. It doesn't even matter. And then I'm going Christian Watson as the second one.
All right. Yeah, I am too. Jefferson and Watson. Assuming you flex one of those guys, Higgins or Waddle.
Or DPJ. But I don't know if I can flex him over those guys.
Or DPJ, I guess so. I'll probably go with one of the other 2 guys.
I'm probably going Waddle.
Yeah, because we've seen it before, specifically with T. Higgins this year. I don't want to get stuck with a 0. So I'll go Waddle also. And then Andrews or Ingram.
This feels closer than it should be. And I know Ingram's been on fire, but man, Dallas is tough against tight ends. I think I'm going Andrews and just, doing the whole crossing my fingers, crossing my shoelaces, my toes, whatever, 4-leaf clovers all around the TV, whatever it takes. I'm going Andrews.
Yeah, light some candles. That's what Roberto does. Light the candles. Say some novenas. Andrews, yeah, this is where I won't go that low for Ingram. And look, of course, Ingram was a monster last week. that was a different matchup. That was against a
Yeah.
really soft pass defense. This is the team that is not only a great defense, the Cowboys, but one of the toughest against tight ends specifically. So I'll stick with Andrews in this case, and only because at least Huntley is in. If it was a third string quarterback, then I would say, okay, just forget it. But I'll go Andrews in this case. And then Luis Rodriguez, standard league. You got Tua, drop Purdy. Available quarterbacks are Tannehill, Jones, Carr.
Yeah, I'm not playing those guys over Tua.
No.
I kind of like Tannehill this week, but I mean, I only kind of like Tannehill this week. Don't really like Daniel Jones or Carr, although I'm going to be forced to play Derek Carr in our Endgame Dynasty League because Mike White is out. Light some candles for me, but I'm going Tua.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm never going to kind of like Tannehill that much, but no. Jones, Carr, no. I'm keeping Tua in this case.
Yeah.
Jeremy Watts, playoffs start next week. I win, I'm in. Okay, so let's see. Full PPR, Dak or Fields?
I think I got to go Dak. Just barely, only because of the matchup against the Jaguars. So it's such a bad defense. Barely Dak.
Yeah, just because I'm not feeling great about Fields this week, I go Dak. I think he'll be fine. I know the numbers weren't overly impressive last week, but at least he'd be challenged somewhat by Jacksonville, I think, this week. So I like Dak. Also, Evans, Etienne, Dobbins, or Monty. Pick one for the flex.
I'm still going Evans. I'm going Evans. Like, give me that potential boom. I just don't see any of these guys booming. Like, even last week, Dobbins 120 yards and a touchdown. And, like, yeah, he got you 18, which, look, no one's going to complain about 18. But that was 120 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's – is he going to get you 150 and 2 this week? Like, yeah. With this group, I'm still going Evans.
Yeah, I think because it's full PPR, because Dobbins won't catch any passes. Evans should at least get you a few. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I wouldn't start Etienne. I'll just say no to him, and then probably not Monty. He's just too safe. I don't know. I don't know. Part of me wants to say Dobbins, but I would go Evans too. Because I said last week, and I was holding firm. Like, I'm not, completely throwing Evans out, off the radar. So I'll go Evans too. Okay. By the way, guys, so we're about an hour in, which means we got 2 hours left. That's right. We stay here for 3 full hours answering your questions because our goal is to help you win. So a couple of reminders for those who joined us a little bit late. We are going to be doing this usually on Saturdays, but it's Friday tonight because don't forget there's 3 games tomorrow. So you got to set your lineups if you haven't already. This is a good time to do it, especially if you have any players in play who do play on Saturday. So we're going to get to all the questions that we possibly can. Answer your start sit questions. We are doing the super chats first, and we will try to get as many other questions as possible. But we're already getting way backed up. We're about a half hour behind. So guys, if you did put a super chat in and we haven't answered it yet, it's because we're still getting there. Trust me, we will answer all your super chats. So just stick with us. All right. Also, a couple of reminders. You can get your in-game merch if you see down below, bearclothing.org. Check out Bear Clothing. A lot of other great stuff on there too. Also, links in the description. If you want to join us on Discord, you can jump in there right now and start chatting with the Endgame community, which you are now officially part of. Of course, assuming that you hit subscribe, which you should do if you haven't already. All right. Back to the super chats. Let's go to Joey Andrews. Choose 2 in a full PPR league. Bam, Deontay Foreman, Chris Moore, or Deontay Johnson.
So, crazily, Chris Moore is the guy I feel the best about out of this group.
As do I.
Because you know what? It's week 15 of the fantasy football season, and you're starting Chris Moore with relative confidence. That's just how football and fantasy football works. And then it's close for me between Foreman and Knight. Like I can easily eliminate Deontay Johnson. The biggest name out of all the group, I'm like, get out. No, come on.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know. Again, they haven't. Unless I missed it, they haven't announced who's going to start for the Steelers at quarterback, and it doesn't matter because neither of them are good. So,
and the report was that Rudolph and Trubisky have been splitting first team reps in practice. So I don't even know if the Steelers know who's starting yet.
well, that's encouraging.
I think I probably go Knight. He's just looked better lately. I know Detroit's been better against the run, but I think with Zach Wilson they'll run a little bit more. He will catch some passes. Foreman doesn't really catch any passes. I'll give Knight the slight edge. So I'm going to go Moore and Knight.
I mean, I am worried about Knight a little bit, but before last week, I would have said Foreman, but then all of a sudden now Foreman is splitting time with Chuba Hubbard, which hadn't been happening, and Chuba Hubbard looked better. So I'll go Knight based on the volume and definitely going Moore, everything that you just said. And then Michael, hey, welcome back again, Michael. All right, so I start Cooper over Kirk. Weather news for the game in Cleveland.
I don't think there's any issue with the weather. I mean, cold. It'll just be cold. Maybe like light, like very light snow. I think they said maybe towards the end of the game, but I think that's it. I'm going Cooper over Kirk. These are both kind of like boom bust guys. But I just feel like Cooper has a great chance to boom this week, so I'm going Cooper over Kirk.
Very similar guys. I mean, you know this, Michael. We talk about this every week. Cooper or Kirk. Who knows what you're going to get? They'll either go off or they'll do nothing. I like them both this week. Of course, they're probably not going to both go off this week, but I do like Cooper. Been talking up, the Browns, so I'll go Cooper. And I haven't heard anything about weather in Cleveland, but again, unless it happens to be this crazy snowstorm like what's in Buffalo or the wind or something weird, I think it's fine. They're used to playing in the cold.
Yeah.
Michael Barton. All right, Dobbins, Etienne, or Knight with the season on the line. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Can I bench Etienne for Dobbins?
You definitely could.
I don't think I could. I know.
In this case, I'm going to go Dobbins.
What's that?
In this case, I'm going to go Dobbins.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm too stubborn. I mean, I'm still going Etienne. Maybe it'll look terrible at the end of the week and it'll get like 3 points again. But if there is one way you can kind of sort of attack this defense, it's on the ground. Etienne does get the volume. I don't know. I just don't trust Dobbins this week. I really feel like this is going to be like so many people are going to be let down by Dobbins. I'm going Etienne, but I mean he could let you down too. But I'm going Etienne.
And I'm not assuming a Dobbins smash week by any means, but I'm just expecting less from Etienne because look, between the two, who's got the better matchup? Obviously Dobbins because it goes against the Browns run defense. Etienne gets the Cowboys. Who's getting more volume? Actually, well, if you look at last week, it was Dobbins versus Etienne's not getting the ball that much. 14 carries, 12 carries. It's pretty close, right? Pretty close, but based on game script, I'm going to assume Dobbins gets more touches. Who's looked better lately? Well, okay, Dobbins has only played one game. That's the question, right? He looked really good last week, but he also has looked really injured the rest of the season. Etienne just hasn't looked that good for a while, so I don't know. I'm going to go with Dobbins, and I'll take my shot. We'll see what happens. And then Jay Lee, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, or Mike Williams. We can only pick two of those guys.
Like I like Amari Cooper this week, but I'm going CeeDee and Mike Williams. I just feel way better about them, and they both have massive upside. CeeDee against the Jags, Mike Williams against the Tennessee run funnel defense. That's not only pass funnel defense that's now down like how many defenders are out this week for Tennessee? Like half the defense is out or something. It's like, yeah, I could see Mike Williams going for 30 plus this week. I can't leave him on my bench. CeeDee and Mike Williams for me.
You have to start CeeDee Lamb. Like I like all three of these guys, as you know. Yeah. We've talked a lot about Amari Cooper. But yeah, you have to start Mike Williams. He's one guy I do have just barely. And it was tough is I don't know who to put higher, Keenan Allen or Mike Williams this week, because you got to like them both.
Yeah.
But they're both basically a must start, so it really doesn't matter. Right. And then pick one, Etienne or Knight.
Again, I just can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm too stubborn or whatever, but like a guy like Zonovan Knight, like I'm still going Etienne. I don't know. I just feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is the week everybody benches Etienne. He's going to go for like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on everybody's bench. And one thing about that, we saw last week with Dameon Pierce, like he actually looked fairly decent last week against Dallas. If there's an area you can attack Dallas, it's on the ground. I'm going to go Etienne.
Well, in this case, I might go Etienne just because now I'm more worried about Zonovan Knight because Zach Wilson's at quarterback. And the Lions, which look like a smash spot, not a smash spot. Like I said, now I'm a lot more nervous about Knight than I had been. So in this case, I'll go Etienne. And you know what? It probably doesn't matter. Those receivers will carry you.
Yeah.
What is up, Joe? Joe Castles, one of our patrons. Pick one in the flex. White, Patterson, Hubbard, McKinnon, or Pierre Strong. I'll say the name.
I mean, if Ramondre and Damian Harris are out, then I think you can go Pierre Strong because you got to think he'll at least be in like some kind of 50-50. He'll probably be the one that catches passes, and he looked he looked explosive last week. But assuming Harris and or Ramondre play, I'd probably go McKinnon here because if we're talking about guys like this, like 10 to 12 point guys or maybe like 8 to 12 point kind of guys, give me the guy who has the potential 20-30 point game in him. And that, to me, it's only McKinnon. He's the only one that does out of these guys. So again, assuming Harris and or Stevenson play, I'll go McKinnon.
Yeah, it would have to be that Ramondre and Damian Harris are both just out completely.
Yeah.
And Ramondre did practice today, right?
Yeah, limited. But one thing I've noticed about the Patriots is they'll list guys like limited and then they won't. Like it seems like they're more like, I guess this is the Bill Belichick trying to confuse the other team, but like he'll have these guys, like he'll have Damian Harris out there before the game running around like maybe Damian Harris is going to play, even though it's like no chance Damian Harris is going to play. And like, they'll list these guys as limited and then they won't play. I don't know. So I'm not fully bought into like both of these guys for sure playing, but it certainly sounds like more of a possibility than it did like, yesterday.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. Trusting anything the Patriots say, yeah, there's little mind games. I mean, I would put McKinnon in there, and then if you find out they're both out, and then even then you're running the risk, is it Strong or is it Harris? It's probably going to be both. I mean, Kevin Harris. So I would go McKinnon, just not have that headache. Marcos Cardozo wants to know, leave Waddle and Swift on the bench. Okay, well, let's see. Burrow, Pacheco, Etienne. I don't know. I'm guessing, would you put Swift over Etienne?
I would.
Yeah,
I'd put Swift over Etienne. Again, not on the injury report at all. He's got tremendous weekly upside. I would.
Okay, so then wide receiver / flex, Diggs, Olave, Devontae. Do you like Waddle over any of those? Maybe Devontae Smith or no?
Yeah. Oh, this is so many just tough decisions with studs this week. I feel like Waddle, Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, Diggs and Olave, I'm good keeping them in. I don't know. You look at the last 2 weeks, Devontae is smashed and Waddle has done nothing. And then the situation for Waddle.
It could be a game where like the weather, and that's the thing about the Dolphins, right? They that offense, it relies on speed, and you know what I mean. And if they're slowed down or whatever, I don't know. I might bench Waddle here. Man, this is so tough. It's just because Waddle has that ability to like win you your week. But I get it. I get it if you want to leave Waddle on the bench.
I might with these guys. I might leave Waddle on the bench, but I would put Swift over Etienne too.
Yeah.
All right, and good luck, Marcos Peru, Tannehill or Rodgers.
Oh man.
I caught us off guard there. I think Aaron Rodgers against the Rams.
I think I'll go Rodgers. He's at home. He's got Christian Watson. The Rams again, like, have not been good against the pass this year. They give up big plays. They give up home runs. Tannehill's fine, but he doesn't really have a lot of weapons. And I mean, he may need to throw it a lot because it's the Chargers, and the Chargers may put points on. But really, this should be a Derrick Henry week. I mean, it should be a Derrick Henry week. So I'll go Rodgers.
I'm going Rodgers. Look, he doesn't have Burks back in there, limited weapons. Chargers defense kind of looked better last week. I don't know if I'm reading into that, but still, I'm not going to start Tannehill. I'll go Rodgers. Just give me some upside.
Yeah.
And then, do you like Okonkwo or Ingram?
This is where it gets close. But I am really worried about Ingram this week in that matchup. And again, Okonkwo, like, even though it should be a Derrick Henry week, they are going to have to throw the ball. And if they fall behind, if the Chargers against his defense are able to go up 2 scores, 3 scores, which could happen, whether they want Derrick Henry to run the ball or not, they're going to have to throw. So I think I'm going Okonkwo with no Treylon Burks now. Going Okonkwo.
Yeah.
I'm getting cheeky with it.
Getting cheeky with it. That's right. So... First of all, anybody, Joe, especially if you have him on your team, you have to rename your team that. But yeah, and he's no Burks, like you said. He's going to be one of the leading targets, and I think in the last couple of weeks, he's been one of the leaders in yards per target. I mean, he's been really good. I don't see why they go away from him. So I know what Ingram did last week, but this is a different week. This is a much worse matchup. I'm going to go with Chig. Jesus Sosa, what's up?
What's up?
All right, so start 2. Cooks. Guessing. Okay, we're talking running back, so I'm gonna guess we're talking Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. But Cook, Connor, Saquon, Monty.
I think you got to go Cook and Saquon. Cook's in a great. I know Saquon's in a tough spot against Washington, but look, 2 weeks ago against Washington, he had almost 20 fantasy points. He sounds motivated. He's healthy. I just can't bench Saquon. I can't bench Saquon. I'm going Cook and Saquon.
They're saying Saquon is acting fine, no problem, no limitations. You have to start Saquon, and if it's Dalvin Cook, which I assume it is, you got to start Dalvin Cook. And he's saying he could flex one. He's got Olave there, so let's look. Right now, his receivers, you got the Sun God, Garrett Wilson, and then Olave at the flex. Would you change anything there?
I think I would. I think I would move Olave over Wilson, and I would flex Connor. The thing about Connor is, like, I know it's a tough matchup for Connor, but he gets 90% of the snaps. He gets a bunch of carries. And now with Colt McCoy, he's going to get these little dinky, like 4 or 5 cheap little dump offs. Like, yeah, you probably won't do anything with him. You get like 4 catches for like 20 yards. But that's 6 free. That's like a free touchdown. It's like a free touchdown, basically. So I think if it was my team, I'm going Olave and Amon-Ra, and then I would flex Connor, personally.
Yeah, I think, you're definitely going Cook, Saquon, definitely starting the Sun God, and Olave, I like in there. Connor and Wilson, that's the struggle, because and I'm not that down on Garrett Wilson, but like you said, it's hard to sit Connor. So yeah, I'll agree. I'll just say go Connor. That's a solid pick there. Goff or Tua? It's got to be Tua.
Definitely Tua. I know, don't love Tua this week, but Goff in New York against that Jets defense, no, I'm out. I'm out on Goff.
Yeah, far out there. Irwin Ball. Thanks for the awesome advice. All right, made it to the playoffs. Here we go. Now
Nice.
The work begins. Need to sit one for the flex. Mixon, Sanders, Pacheco, Watson, or McLaurin. You need to sit one of these guys.
Call me crazy, but I'm sitting McLaurin. I don't think I can. I just can't sit Mixon. I know it's not the best spot for him, but I can't sit Mixon. I cannot sit Sanders this week. He's in a smash spot. Pacheco in a smash spot. I can't really ever sit Watson. McLaurin, yeah, I know he was good against them like a couple weeks ago, but it's still not the best matchup for him. So I think if I have to sit one of these guys, I'm sitting McLaurin.
Yeah, I mean, we always say Watson's a must start. Mixon, a must start, but especially I feel much better. If you saw Vita Vea, stud for the Bucks, that run stuffer, he's not playing. This could actually be a sneaky good Mixon week. They're actually, I think Jamel Dean, their top cornerback, is also out. I mean, that Bucks defense is hurting, and their offense is bad enough. So anyways, yeah, Sanders, Pacheco, great spots. I guess it has to be McLaurin. Would I agree? And then Brian Smith also stopped by to say he's in the playoffs. All right, so Waller or Otten in the playoffs? Ouch.
Man. Well, I'll say if Waller's active, I'll play Waller over Otten because the thing is, Otten with Cameron Brate back, he's barely getting targeted again. He had that kind of like nice few games where Cameron Brate was out, but once Cameron Brate comes back and is healthy, Otten just doesn't get the targets anymore. We have like 3 targets last week, and that was it. I'll gamble on Waller at least getting, like 4 or 5 or 6 catches or something. So in this case, I'll go Waller.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, I would look on waivers and see who else you got. I mean, I don't know who else. If you can drop us a line and say, but if you had to pick between those two, I guess I would go Waller because Otten's getting you nothing. And then Samuel or Johnson, I guess got to be Curtis Samuel because Debo's out. And then
Curtis Samuel or Deontay Johnson?
Probably.
Oh man, I guess Curtis Samuel. I guess I don't know. Like neither. I mean, at least the thing about at least Curtis Samuel scores touchdowns sometimes.
Right.
Deontay Johnson might not score a touchdown the whole year. Has he scored once this entire season? Does he even have one? I don't think so. I mean, he probably won't. So at least give me the chance for a touchdown with Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, Samuel's had his moments. I mean, Deontay really hasn't had any moments. And again, we still don't even know who's starting at quarterback for the Steelers. No thanks. I'll go Samuel. Saki, need a wide receiver in a flex. Amari Olave, Mike Williams, Aaron Jones, Waddle. We can only pick 2 of these guys? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm going Mike Williams and Amari. Like I just cannot bench Mike Williams this week. It would be very hard for me to bench Mike Williams this week. You'd have to have incredible options. And then I do like Olave, and I do kind of like Aaron Jones and of course Waddle, but Amari I think just has huge upside this week. I'm going Williams and Amari.
In this case, I can almost easily say no to Waddle, which again brings a tear to my eye. But yeah, and then Jones, I can scratch him off. Compared to these guys, you have to start Williams, and I'm going Amari. I like Olave this week a lot, actually, but I like Amari just a little bit more. So, man, this is a really good bench.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we have one. Let's see if I can find Tom Staker's chat. So Tom Staker, thank you. Appreciate it. The super chat. Let me see if I can find a question. Oh, here it is. Okay. Diggs, Higgins, Watson, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson. On the bench, Harris, Olave, and DPJ. So I guess, I'm guessing he's asking, do we switch anything here?
I would switch out Higgins for Olave just again because there's that risk that Higgins isn't healthy, but they're not going to say he's not healthy and then he's not going to play like last week. And I do like Olave going against the Falcons, so I would just put Olave in for Higgins. I'm not starting Damon Harris. I mean, unless Ramondre is complete, but even then, do we feel like Damien Harris is healthy and is going to get, 15, 20 carries, or is it going to be like a three-headed monster because he's not really healthy? So I'll stick with Aaron Jones and Brian Robinson.
Yeah. I'm not trusting Damian Harris. I agree. I'm going to go Olave over Higgins. I don't want that 0 from Higgins. Otherwise, you're good. Look, Brian Robinson, I wish, I think he's questionable. He's been on an injury report. He's fully healthy. I feel good about him. Remember, I had a good game against the Giants a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'd keep him in there, though. Justin Adams in the Yahoo League. All right, here's the Driscoll thing. You asked about this earlier. Driscoll, who is a quarterback and has always been a quarterback, apparently for some reason has tight end eligibility. Which has he ever actually played tight end? Honestly, I've never seen him play tight end. Has he ever even caught a pass? Now I have to look it up. Okay.
Probably not.
Anyways, would you play Driscoll over Njoku?
No, there's certain tight ends I would play Driscoll over. Like if you were telling me like Hunter Henry is the best option on your waiver wire, or Taysom Hill. If you're like Taysom Hill is the best option on my waiver wire, I would play him over those guys, but not over Njoku. Njoku's too good. And look, even last week, Driscoll, what did he get? Like he threw a touchdown and only got like 8 fantasy points or 9 fantasy points. So he could still completely bust this week. It's not like he's like if he was the starter and he was going to play every snap and throw every pass, then maybe, but he's not. He's not. So I'm still going to Njoku.
Yeah. Okay. So I looked up. Driscoll has caught 1 pass in his 4-year career. And I think that was probably when he had it bad. He was playing quarterback. He had it batted, and it comes back and he caught it. He's not a tight end. So that actually
I don't understand this at all. But I will say, if you're in a Yahoo League and you are desperate at tight end, at least go add Jeff Driscoll to your bench. Because at any moment, like if Davis Mills struggles this week, who's to say next week Lovie Smith doesn't say, we're going to start Jeff Driscoll this week. He's going to be our – I mean, they went to Kyle Allen. They could go to Jeff Driscoll, and now you have a starting quarterback, granted a bad one, but still a starting quarterback in your tight end slot. Like I said, I would play him over guys like Hunter Henry, Dawson Knox, Taysom Hill. If he was a starting quarterback in my tight end slot, I would start him over those guys for sure.
I'm not interested in any way in Jeff Driscoll. Look, I get the whole it's fun that he's a quarterback and tight end. He doesn't catch passes. He isn't Taysom Hill. He's just in there as a gimmick because they don't like Davis Mills enough or Kyle Allen enough to play in him. And look, Jeff Driscoll now his 5th year in the NFL, actually. 4 different teams. You know why? Because he's not a good quarterback. All he can do is come in once in a while and do a run like what they did with Jacoby Brissett before they had to start him, where it's like, oh, it's 4th and long. Let's bring him in and he'll do a quarterback draw. He's not good. And in fact, he's the kind of guy who could give you negative points because he throws an interception with no touchdowns and only is in there for like 5 snaps. So I'm not adding Driscoll in any way. I'm starting Njoku for sure. And then at flex, I'm going Foreman.
Yeah, I'm flexing Foreman over Taysom Hill, definitely.
Okay, let's go to Samuel Montero. After losing LJ, my choices are Tannehill, Rodgers, and Lawrence.
I think in this case, I still go Lawrence. I don't love Lawrence this week, but I mean, you can't love Rodgers or Tannehill either. So at least Lawrence has weapons. They'll probably need to throw. I'm going Lawrence out of this group.
Yeah, I'll go Lawrence here. You already know I don't have interest in Tannehill. We already said Rodgers, I think, over him earlier, but I do have Lawrence over Rodgers. Barely, but just a little. And then Defy Dior, Gallup or Peoples-Jones?
Look, I like Gallup as a potential home run this week, but I mean, he's also very risky. Peoples-Jones has been good in the 2 games with Deshaun Watson. I'm going Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, this one is close, but I've been saying I feel like it's a good week for the Browns. I kind of like Peoples-Jones the last couple of weeks. He's been coming on, mentioned him as a waiver wire, strong ad, so I got to go with Peoples-Jones. Which also makes me curious with Gallup, like why do the Cowboys keep desperately trying to add receivers? Like they really want OBJ as if he's going to do anything, and then they're adding T.Y. Hilton. James Washington's coming back. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And then I see you, Bumpy Bars, not because of the all caps, but you're a new subscriber, so salute to
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate that. So, Schultz or Njoku?
I mean, those are both really good options, but I like Schultz more. He's in an absolute smash spot this week.
Yeah. Schultz, if you, I don't know if you caught it in the Boom video. Not too often we throw tight ends out there, but I like Schultz a lot. Look, I like Njoku, but I feel like we keep talking about the Browns. I don't want to hype them up too much. Like, I'm not a Browns fan. Although we were in Cleveland, right? Just a couple months ago, you and I were there hanging out, but I'm still not a Browns fan. So, and then I'll do another regular chat here. First year playing fantasy, also in the playoffs. All right. Would you start Elijah Moore or Brian Robinson?
Well, this morning I would have started Elijah Moore, but now I'm starting Brian Robinson. I'm not trusting Elijah Moore with Zach Wilson. No way.
Nope. And again, this is why, even though we do put the videos out, guys, you always want to catch the latest, our live shows, why we do this usually Saturday nights, but of course with Saturday games, now it's Friday night. Next week, reminder, it's going to be Friday night because basically all the games are on Saturday because there's this Christmas thing going on the weekend. So Friday night, that's right when we know before game time, injury updates, who's starting, who's sitting. Did not expect to be hit with a fact. And I mean, hit like it felt like a slap in the face that Zach Wilson is starting a quarterback. I mean, you have to be out on Elijah Moore. You have to. So Brian Robinson. And look, I don't mind Brian Robinson this week either. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
John, Flex One. Chark, Bam, Ben Skoranek. Haven't heard him yet. Or Elijah Moore is probably a no.
Well, it's a no to Elijah Moore, and it's a no to Chark in a brutal spot this week. I know Skoranek did some things with Baker in that first game, but that was like backyard football, right? They weren't running. They were just like, run around, get open, I'll find you. Now he's going to have to run actual plays and go through read progressions. He's going to be terrible again. Baker Mayfield, that is. I'm going with Bam.
I'm going with Bam too. I'm not going to jump on the Skoranek, whatever you want to call it. I don't even think it's a hype train, but no. I'm going Bam out of this group. Jack McDougal. We got Zay Jones, Schultz, or Rachaad White at the flex. I mean, obviously, I like Schultz. Do you go Zay Jones over him? You like Schultz better?
Zay Jones is interesting because he's one of those guys. He could have a big game where he could do absolutely nothing for you. And, Dallas is down a couple corners. Probably going to have to throw the ball. Jacksonville, that is. They're probably going to have to throw it more than they want. I mean, but I do really like Schultz this week. And
if only we ever knew what Jacksonville was going to do on offense.
I know. That's the
given week.
This will probably be a week where Christian Kirk has 15 targets and Zay Jones gets 5.
I hope not.
I probably, man, but I don't ever really love flexing a tight end.
Yeah. It's tough. Well, look, somebody earlier said that we agree too much. And so I'm going to wait for whatever you say. I'll just say the opposite. That way we don't agree because then we don't want to help people by agreeing. We want to be argue and
That's right. That's right. Who wants us to agree when we can just say the opposite and help nobody? I'll say Schultz because my team. I'm probably going Schultz.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Look. This is how I frame every question. I'm imagining this is my team and my game is on the line, my playoff or whatever. Who do I put in? I'll put Schultz in.
By the way, who's saying we agree too much? Do people actually want us to just constantly disagree? Is that helpful for anybody if we're just constantly disagreeing? Who wants that?
I think some people, obviously some people like that. This is why you see, Undisputed and Stephen A. Smith and those guys get so much hype on TV because all they do is yell and argue with people. It's that's not normal, but I guess it's normalized now.
That's different because you're not asking a question should I play this guy or this guy? And then you have them yelling at each other, play this, no, play this. And then you have no answer at the end because they both said somebody different. So you're still in the same predicament where you don't know who to play. Like, it's not like we're arguing about a player. You know what I mean? Like those guys. Like, I get that. That's for entertainment. We're here trying to help. They're not helping anybody. They're just pure entertainment. We're actually trying to help people. Why would you want us to disagree? I don't get it. Anyways.
I don't know. I know. I get it. All right. And then here's another long time listener, first time caller. Appreciate you, Donovan. All right. So McKinnon or Chubb? I think we could agree on this one.
Look, Jet's my guy. You can ask Pierre. Jet's been my guy forever.
Oh yeah.
But come on, like, yeah, I'm starting Chubb over him for sure. I know Jet just had a huge game and Chubb's been bad, but you can't bench Chubb, especially not for a guy like McKinnon. Gotta beat Chubb.
I remember, back when McKinnon was with the Vikings, right? And we're like, this is the year, and you're like, man, he should blow up. This is gonna be it. And then he got hurt, of course, again, which is what he does. And it's like, oh man, I love McKinnon, but you're starting Chubb. Chubb. Connor Pollock, pick 3. Cordero Patterson, AJ Dillon, Gibby, Rachaad White, Drake London has entered the chat. Rex Burkhead,
our first Burkhead question. All right.
Surprisingly. Okay, we had to pick 3 of these. And this is half PPR.
Oh, man. Can we refund Connor?
How about this? This is what we like to make things easier. Okay, who is a guy you can just cross off the list you have no interest in?
Burkhead. I can easily cross off Burkhead.
Maybe he's a starter, which probably not. Okay. Talented rookie Dameon Pierce, who's getting all the carries, basically, was still not that great lately. So, no. Okay, so let's scratch off Burkhead. Yeah. Is there one guy that you almost surely would say yes to? Because we each pick one, that would help.
I mean, there's no guy in here that I'm like, oh, yeah, definitely him. These guys are all like, you can make a case for and against all of these guys, right? I say London probably has the highest ceiling out of all of these guys, and when we're talking about guys like this, at least shoot for the moon, shoot for the upside. Like, these are all kind of like 8 to 12 pointish kind of guys, maybe 8 to 11 in half PPR. So you might as well shoot for like a guy like Drake London, who has the potential to have a big game if. Desmond Ridder is a gunslinger. At least he's a gunslinger. He'll throw it. He'll chuck it. Will it be accurate? Maybe, maybe not. But at least he can do it. So London's probably my first pick.
Yeah. He's the one that I doesn't stand out, but he's probably the guy I like the best. And I do like, again, before the bye, matched his season high in targets. They're going with the youth movement. I feel like they're going to try to find ways to get him the ball. Late now, but anyways. Okay, so I like London. You like London. So we got to pick between Cordero, Dillon, Gibson, and White. We got to pick 2.
I feel like Patterson's the other guy I can cross off. Like, every time I see his name, I just think like, there's just nothing there. There's nothing there. Like,
well, I just mentioned with London and all the things that the Falcons are doing. They're going to. I did mention this. I don't think has it dropped. Maybe dropped to today, or tomorrow, whenever that video comes out. I'm kind of liking Algier a little bit more. I think they're going to get him a little more involved. Patterson. What has he done for you lately? So okay. Let's cross Burkhead, cross Patterson. We like London. So now we're picking 2 between Rachaad White, Gibson, and Dillon. You like Rachaad White for the floor?
I think Rachaad White's got to be number 2 because his usage is there, his pass catching is there. I know it's half PPR, but still, you get half a point for those catches. It's not like you get 0. So I think White's got to be number 2. I would like to say Gibson because it's such a good matchup against that Giants run defense, but we've seen the last couple of games. It's been a lot of Brian Robinson and not as much Dillon. And I don't say I'm worried, but I feel like maybe Brian Robinson finally, maybe it's just being a rookie. It took him time. Maybe it was because he got shot in the leg. That could be. Maybe. He looks like he's finally getting used to the speed of the NFL game. But Dillon against the Rams, and you never know when it's going to be one of those games where Dillon gets like 6 carries and that's it.
Right.
And you get nothing. So I think I'd still gamble on Gibson in a better matchup. So I'm going London, White, and Gibson.
Yeah, London, White, I think, and Gibson too, because at least Gibson should be involved as a pass catcher. Dillon sometimes is, sometimes isn't. I don't feel like it's a good game for him. So London, White, and Gibson it is. Good luck with that, Connor.
Yeah.
And then we have Mana Laumea. All right, the team is Fields, I guess guessing T, Higgins, D Hop, Pollard, Connor.
Davante Adams. We'll call him
Tay. Oh.
Davante Adams. I think so. I don't know.
No, we don't spell it like that. Okay, let's see.
Who's Tay? Who's Tay?
Muth or Driscoll? Oh, no, okay, well, no, because he says Higgins. Should I flex Higgins, Knight, Dobbins, or
Yeah,
not?
I think it's Davante Adams. I think people call him Tay. I don't know. Like, we're old. These kids and their nicknames, man.
But there's no A in it.
Hey, it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me address the first thing. I'm not starting Driscoll. No, put Muth in there.
Yes, definitely put Freiermuth in. Definitely put
Okay, so do you
in.
flex? Yeah, the actual question is, do I flex Higgins, Knight, Dobbins, or Najee in half PPR?
Oh, I mean, this should be Higgins. Like, there should be no doubt Higgins. I mean, because you don't really feel great. Like,
yeah,
I don't. Like, I'm not super down on Najee, Dobbins, or Knight this week, but I'm not super high on them either. Like, but this Higgins thing, man, and yeah, like you said, the Bucs down, like, some key defenders in the secondary. Like, I could see them just having, like, the Bengals having a big game against them offensively. I don't know. With this group, I'm still going Higgins. I'm doing it.
Well, that's what I say. Look, this is a 10-team league. You don't want a few points, right? I think if Higgins plays, in this case, you do. You want me to answer? Is he watching?
I think.
Okay. All right. So I'll say Freiermuth. Definitely. Not Driscoll.
Yeah.
Just drop Driscoll. I'll make you feel better. It's a 10-team league. You don't need Driscoll. Okay. And then I'm flexing Higgins. Like, yeah, Dobbins could be fine, but
yeah. Now, if we hear something like, ooh, Dobbins, if we hear anything about Higgins, like maybe being limited, then yeah, I guess go Dobbins.
All right. Now, Chris, if you don't mind, we're getting a question via text here. So we have a viewer. Is he watching? Okay, Joaquin, if you're watching, he's a question. Joaquin wants to know, do I start Tyler Huntley or Jared Goff? It says, I have Mark Andrews and Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I have the stack for both. Okay, so Huntley or Goff?
Ah, man. I mean, the stack doesn't really contribute it for me.
I'm answering online.
I don't know. I guess I'll go Huntley for the rushing. I'm just really down on Goff this week. I think you actually did talk about it in today's video. Jared Goff at home has 20 touchdowns and on the road has two touchdowns on the road. And it's not like he's only played one road game this year. He's played, I think, like 6 or 7 or something. And it's the Jets. I'm going to go with Huntley and hope he runs in a touchdown or, maybe throws a touchdown to Andrews. I'm going to go Huntley.
Yeah, look, there's so many reasons to be down on Goff. Not because of last week. I know you want to look at last week and say, how can I say Goff? Yes, you can say Goff. Look, let me just specify here, since y'all are wondering. The home road split for Goff this season, just looking at this season's stats, 5 games on the road, 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. 2 touchdowns in 5 games and averages 227 yards per game. He averages 50 fewer yards on the road. 2 touchdowns in 5 games. Did I mention that? Yeah. It's hard to be that bad. And then, oh, by the way, the Jets in the last 4 weeks have allowed the second fewest points to quarterbacks specifically. And then if you look at the season long, they're number 8. So guys, you got to sit Goff. Like you can't play Goff this week. I would even almost dare say I would play Ryan Tannehill over Goff this week.
And I would. I would definitely play Ryan Tannehill over. Definitely.
Yeah. So, anyways, I hope that helps, Joaquin, and good luck this week. 2 boys and their scary pops.
That's interesting.
All right.
Is this a YouTube channel? I might have to check this out. Is this let us know in the is this a YouTube channel? I've got 2 boys and their scary pops. What is your YouTube channel about? Type it in the comments. I want to know.
We're gonna have to check that out. Okay, the wide receiver spot, flex 2, Dotson, Carter, Okonkwo, or White.
I mean, I don't even know if Michael Carter gets more interesting with Zach Wilson. Not doing it. Dotson did kind of show a little bit before the bye, but
yeah, with these choices, I guess Dotson.
Yeah, I'd probably go Dotson and actually, you know, I'm just gonna say if it was my team, I'm just thinking about my team. I'm going with Okonkwo and White. That's who I'm going with. Okonkwo and White.
Oh, all right. But actually, well, okay. I'm trying to, because it says wide receiver spot. You need to have a wide receiver here.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Well, yeah, okay. If you need a wide receiver, there's only one here, unless that's DeAndre Carter from the Chargers. You can't play him.
Yeah, I think maybe that's DeAndre Carter. You got to go Dotson at wide receiver.
Okay, then you got to go Dotson, and then I would still flex White over Okonkwo.
Yeah, I think so too. Dotson and White. All right, Sam Weatherly.
Really quick, he did say this might be something we're both interested in because I know you and I are big horror buffs. Oh. It's a YouTube channel and they collect Funko horror related stuff. So
interesting. I'm not into the Funko. My dog's got
really into the Funko
few of them. I actually have one down here. I'll break it out at some point, but
I'm not big into the Funko either. But I do like horror.
Oh. But actually, I don't know. Does this count as horror? Plants vs. Zombies. That's a Funko. Yeah, actually, I should have this guy up because it's Christmas. We got the Bumble.
The Abominable, yeah, from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
All right, so we're going to put this guy here since the Dolphins are probably going to lose this week anyway.
Wow, no faith in the Dolphins. All right, there you go.
Wow, okay. I'm back to just like, it's the Dolphins, you know. Okay, all right. Well, that's awesome. Very good. Okay, Sam Weatherly needs some help. That's why we're here. Full PPR, big play bonus. All right, so need 3 running backs and 4 receivers. Now, this is a league. This is a league.
What league makes you start 3 running backs? That's brutal.
All right, well, here are the running backs. This is more brutal. Foreman, Latavius, Bam, Chuba. So I guess you're only sitting 1.
I'm sitting Latavius. I mean, at least all these other guys have a path to something. I don't know what Latavius's path is. Not playing.
Path to my bench. Path to the waiver wire. Yeah, so yes. Foreman, Bam, and Chuba sit Latavius. Okay, 4 receivers. Higgins, Hollywood, Chris Moore, Gabe, and Pittman.
I mean, I'm definitely sitting Gabe. And then as risky as Higgins might be this week, I think I'm sitting Hollywood.
I think we only sit. Wait, he needs 4 receivers. So do we only sit 1 of these? We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you're right. Okay, well, I'm sitting Gabe. I just don't see the path for Gabe. I mean,
yeah,
I just don't see him doing anything. So I'm sitting Gabe Davis.
I mean, look, there's a chance Higgins does get ruled out before the game because he's questionable, and then your choice is made. But yeah, I'm sitting Gabe. I know the big play thing. How many big plays has he made this year?
Not very many.
I feel really good about Pittman. I feel good about Moore. I feel good about Higgins if he plays. I don't feel good about Hollywood. I don't. I already said that. But I actually feel less good about Gabe.
Yeah.
But especially also the weather is just another factor. All right. Antonio Gratola, start 3. Zeke, Pollard, Kamara, Dobbins, and B-Rob.
Well, I'm definitely starting the Cowboys running backs. I don't see any reason to sit either of them. They've both been playing great, and it's Jacksonville. They should both do great again. Zeke will probably score a touchdown. Pollard will probably rip off 2 huge runs and 2 touchdowns or something. I'm starting those 2 for sure. You know, I'm going with Kamara over these guys. I do like Brian Robinson, but again, like he's not catching a ton of passes. You know, doesn't have tremendous touchdown upside. Dobbins, I'm definitely nervous about Dobbins this week. I'll start Kamara against the Falcons and hope it gets better.
That's the wild card here is what are we going to get from Kamara? I mean,
yes.
You would hope with the week off they figured it out. He is still a good running back, right? That's not the issue. He's not hurt. I'll go, because it's the Falcons, I would go Kamara. And look, just double checking my rankings, like where have I put these guys? At running back, I got Kamara 15, I got Zeke 16, and I got Dobbins 17. Pretty close. But that tells you that I actually agree. Because Pollard is, there's no doubt there. I do like Robinson, but man, it's really close between all these guys. But I would go Pollard, Zeke, and Kamara. Since we always agree, then there we go. Steven, it has been asked and answered already, but asking again, hey, ask away. Pacheco or Swift in full PPR as a bonus. My point dropped Swift a few weeks ago.
Wow. Nice. I mean, I get all excited like Swift's been crushing it, but
you did that one week.
I play Swift, but I totally get it. If you like, Pacheco is certainly safer than Swift, and Pacheco's in a great spot, and I think Pacheco's gonna have a great game. But for me, Swift, not on the injury report. They might have to just check it. Goff might have to just dump it off to Swift a ton. We know what he can do. I'm going Swift, but I totally get it if you want to go Pacheco.
So close, so close. I feel a little better about Pacheco this week. I mean, I feel like it could be a good Swift game. But, there's always that thing where Swift is limited because Jamal Williams is there to vulture the touchdowns and to steal carries. And if I'm thinking that Goff is just going to just suck this week completely and they're not moving the ball, I can't feel like Swift has a big week. You know what I mean? So I go Pacheco. But, yeah, I could see. I mean, I don't hate Swift completely this week, but I'm going Pacheco. All right, this is a good question. Eric Fortis Jr. wants to know, what's your opinion on dropping players you won't play for handcuffs? For example, dropping Marquise Brown for Madison to look ahead.
I'm okay dropping players you won't play for potential handcuffs, but not guys that my opponents might play against me and I'll regret. And that's the thing with Marquise Brown. I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, I'm not going to play him this week, against Denver. But like, what about what's his schedule here? Where is he? Here he is. But like, next week against Tampa Bay, they haven't been very good against the pass. And what about week 17 against Atlanta? What if you drop Marquise Brown and somebody else picks him up, and now you face that guy in the finals and he's rolling out Marquise Brown against you against Atlanta? You're going to really regret, unless Dalvin Cook gets hurt and you have Madison, you're going to really regret. So I'm okay dropping him, but isn't there somebody else you have like a more, like, I don't know, do you have maybe like, let me look here, like somebody I could think of, like a Jamal Williams or
like a Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton. I think he's been dropped a lot. Or like a George Pickens or
oh yeah, you can
Curtis Samuel, guys like that who are like, look, if your opponent wants to pick him up, have at it, go for it. Right. But not a Marquise Brown. He's too good.
Yeah, and I keep saying, look, I'm completely out of Marquise Brown this week, but not necessarily rest of the season. And like, I get Kyler Murray's not there, but Colt McCoy isn't, the worst backup quarterback out there. He's actually put up some decent numbers in the past. He'll get the ball to his receivers. Not this week, but against Atlanta, yeah. So in general, yes, that's a good policy, but I wouldn't drop Brown yet either.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, what is everyone's favorite holiday movie?
Halloween.
This is a trick question.
Or is
Did you
that
know
one
the
of my
answer
favorite holiday movies?
is Shrek 2 on DVD.
Oh, that's right. Was that a holiday movie? I don't know. I've never seen it. Is that a holiday?
It's any season. Every holiday is good for Shrek 2 on DVD. Welcome back, Shrek 2. We missed you. Need a quarterback 2, running back 2, and a flex. Tannehill, Ritter, Rachaad White, Chris Moore, AJ, and James Cook.
All right. Well, I'm playing Tannehill over Ritter. I get the potential for Ritter, but he's a rookie making his first start. It could be a complete train wreck. We don't know. At least Tannehill, it's a great matchup for Tannehill, actually. And I think they will have to throw more than they want. So I'm going Tannehill. And then RB2, Rachaad White or AJ Dillon or James Cook, definitely Rachaad White. James Cook, you can't play James Cook after what we saw last week. And Dillon, there's always a chance. First of all, it's a tough matchup against the Rams. They have been great against the run. But second, there's always that chance that Dillon, it's one of those games where it's like, oh, Dillon only got 6 touches this week. What happened? Where did AJ Dillon go? So I'm going Rachaad White to RB2. And then flex, I'm going Chris Moore.
Well, definitely going Chris Moore to flex, surprisingly. Yeah, Rachaad White is the best, and we kind of talked about White and Dillon before. I know we kind of have to see with Ritter first, don't we? The thing is, there's just no ceiling because he's got Drake London, and then Olamide Zaccheaus and Damiere Byrd, and that's it. I mean, he's going to have to make plays with his legs, which he can do, but are you going to assume he's running in a touchdown and 50+ yards? And no, I'll go Tannehill reluctantly. Trey Montgomery, Etienne, Zonovan Knight, or McKinnon. We got to pick 2.
I think you got to bench McKinnon. I know it's easy to look and see the matchup, but I mean, McKinnon, even he got 9 targets last week, but prior to that, he was only getting 2 or 3 targets a game. I think that was just one of those games where the Chiefs got out to that early lead, and they're like, okay, we got this game won, and then the Broncos storm back, and then they had to start throwing it a bunch again. I am starting McKinnon in one league because I have to, because my running backs are terrible. But I'm not expecting a huge game from him. I mean, I'll take it if it happens, but I'm not expecting it. I'm going Etienne at 9.
In this case, I'll go Etienne. And yeah, you got to always go with volume. I mean, usually go the guy who's getting the volume. Knight's going to get it. McKinnon, that's the problem, is you can't go with a guy that you just can't even guarantee will even reach double-digit touches. And kind of gave this warning last week about Travis Homer. And we had one of our guys, Michael, who has been with he's probably still watching, Michael Fawcett, big Seahawks fan. He's like, I like Travis Homer. I was like, dude, I do too. I love Travis Homer. He went to Miami. I watched him. He's got good talent, but Pete Carroll doesn't love him because he's never given him more than 10 carries in a game. And even when you knew Kenneth Walker was out, guess what happens? They didn't give him even 10 carries. It didn't matter. We knew he wasn't going to get the volume. And that's the thing with McKinnon. I don't feel like they're going to have to pass the ball and dump it down to the running back that much. And he's not getting a bunch of carries. So that's why I like Pacheco. I can't love McKinnon this week. So I'll go with the first 2 guys. All right, before we go to Super Chats, which, again, we're approaching hour 2. Guys, be patient. We're way behind here on the Super Chats because we got so many comments we're trying to get to. We are answering some of the regular comments as well. And so that leads me to this one. Just to prove you wrong, access MIA, which I'm hoping if MIA stands for Miami, well, then you're on my side. Terry Mack, D-Hop, or Keenan?
I think this week I'm going Keenan. It's just such a good matchup against Tennessee, and we saw it last week. I mean, I feel like his floor this week is like 18 points because he's gonna get like 9 or 10 catches. You know what I mean? Like, even if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's giving you like a huge floor, just a ginormous floor this week. So don't hate D-Hop, don't hate McLaurin, but I got to go Keenan here.
Yeah, I'm going Keenan. Again, we have him as a must start now because he's been great since he's been back. Herbert now is playing the way he's capable of. It's such a smash spot. But Chris, Access MIA in all caps again wants you to know that Terry had 23 points against the same team. Does that change your mind?
No, I think I actually said that. I think I said, like, yes, he had a good game against them. But that's the thing with Terry is, like, we see, like, because he's still got Taylor Heineke. Like, he has games like that, and he has games where he gets you, like, 8 or 9 points. And Keenan just has, again, Keenan's floor is, like, almost Terry's ceiling, it feels like, this week. So why would you just not take that?
I mean, I like Terry McLaurin this week, but I just like Keenan better. And that's the thing. So, Johnny Camarena, pick 2. What's up, Johnny? Pacheco, Mixon, B-Rob, and Chubb.
I mean, I know it's tempting to go Pacheco with that matchup, but I can't sit Chubb or Mixon. I can't do it. It's not like Pacheco has been just lighting the world on fire, putting up monster games. It's like he's been good, but he's just been good. And I get the matchup part. I get that it's a great matchup, but it's not like he's going to get 20 plus carries and catch a bunch of passes. I can't sit Chubb or Mixon for Pacheco.
No, I'm Mixon. I actually feel really good about Mixon this week. As I mentioned, Vita Vea is out. Bucks are just all sorts of banged up. I mean, I am kind of worried about Chubb with this matchup. Ravens' run defense has been really good lately, but I can't sit Chubb. As good as I feel about Pacheco, and I have some worries about Chubb, I'm still starting Chubb, although it's very tempting. And then Johnny following up with this, flex Watson or Olave.
I mean, I like Olave this week, but we also know, like, with Andy Dalton, his ceiling can be kind of limited. I can't bench Watson. Like I said, it was like it's kind of like Amon-Ra last year. Remember when Amon-Ra was going off and everybody was like, this can't continue. There's no way this guy can do this, because Amon-Ra wasn't some incredible prospect. Like, he wasn't like, he wasn't just like incredible. He wasn't like Garrett Wilson or somebody like that. But you know what? He did keep it going. And he won people championships. Look, maybe Watson, like I said, maybe it comes crashing down to earth this week, but I'm riding it. I'm going down with the ship. I'm not benching Watson.
Find out, right? Find out.
Yes.
Yeah, I like both, but I'm definitely going Watson. And then Njoku, or I guess Muth, go Njoku.
Yeah, Njoku this week, definitely.
Tricks, not just for kids. Pick 2, full PPR, Najee, Swift, Knight, and B-Rob.
Well, here I can confidently go Swift. I know that's hard to say, but I can confidently go Swift because I like that upside. And then I probably still go Najee. I do think the Steelers will lean on him more with whatever terrible QB they have. He'll get some dump offs. I don't dislike Brian Robinson or Knight, but I like Najee a little more. I'm going Swift and Najee.
Yeah, in this case, I am going Swift pretty confidently. And then it's close between the first and the last. I might lean B-Rob just because, again, he's been really good lately. Giants have been bad on run defense lately. I just feel better about his matchup. So I would prefer Brian Robinson, but it's close with him and Najee. The battle lion. Waddle, Watson, Godwin. Say that 3 times fast. Who do you flex?
I just talked about Watson. I mean, he's trending towards a league winner. He's gone over 20 points each of the last 4 or 5 games. Like, you just can't
mention.
Look, he's breaking the laws of analytics, but you just have to ride it. You just gotta ride it. I'm going Watson.
That's true. Watson. And normally you'd say we can't bench Waddle, but this week you kind of can. Not that you have to, but there's all sorts of things conspiring against them. So I'm going to go Watson. All right. And then Fam first. Sit 1 in full PPR. Olave, Kirk, or Connor?
Well, I'll sit Connor here in full PPR. I don't dislike Connor this week. It is a tough matchup, but the usage is there. But I just don't think he has the upside this week of these guys. And look at last night. Like, getting a game like you got from Kittle can literally can take your team from I might lose to I'm almost a lock to win because you just got this huge game from kind of an unexpected guy. If one or both of these guys, I'm talking about Olave or Kirk, have games like that, your chances of winning go exponentially up. And I just don't see that for Connor this week. I don't see him having a game like that. So I'm going Kirk and Olave.
Yeah, Connor is a fairly solid RB2.
Yeah.
But not a high upside play this week, especially. So Olave and Kirk in full PPR, that just is the kicker. You know what I mean? It's you're definitely set with those receivers. Ted Metalhead, what is up?
What's up, Ted?
All right, defense. First defense question, I think. Green Bay or Buffalo?
Man. I mean, I do like Green Bay a lot this week at home. I really think we're going to see the real Baker Mayfield, which is a terrible QB who takes sacks and throws interceptions and doesn't score points. But you can't really be too terrified of Miami this week, even though you should be, but you really can't because, again, I mean, Tyreek Hill, I know he's full practice, but we saw last week he was definitely hobbled. He definitely wasn't 100% last week. Waddle might not be 100%. Tua hasn't looked good. The weather, they're in Buffalo. I think I still go Buffalo.
I mean, I'm not feeling great about my Fins this week. But again, one thing about Tua, he doesn't throw too many interceptions. They're not really a turnover-prone team. If Terran Armstead comes back at left tackle, that should help limit some of the sacks. I'm going Green Bay because they got Baker Mayfield on the other side there. I'm definitely feeling better about their matchup. So I'm surprised. I thought you would go Green Bay because you were saying you like the Packers defense this week.
No, I do. I like the Packers a lot, but
weather changed things.
Yeah, the weather and the fact that I don't know if Tyreek or Waddle are even 100% right now. I don't know if either of them are 100%. Yeah, but I like both these defenses this week.
Yeah, I think that's it. Who knows what defense is, right?
Yeah,
Who knows?
That's the thing.
I like Green Bay a little better. And then is that Damian Harris or at White?
I mean, if Ramondre was out and Damian Harris was 100% healthy, I would say Damian Harris because it's the Raiders. But Ramondre might play. Damian Harris still questionable, probably not 100%. I'm just going to go over Rachaad White.
Damian Harris is forever questionable. He still is. You can't trust him. So, no. If it's Damian Harris, you can't start him. You got to go White. And then Sapphire Smokin', 209. All right. Tannehill, Dalton, Ryan, Mac Jones. Question mark.
I think out of this group, I go Matt Ryan. None of these guys really jump out to me. But Matt Ryan does have a very good matchup this week against that Vikings secondary. They're indoors, so you don't have to worry about any weather issues. Vikings don't really have a great pass rush. So you don't have to worry about Matt Ryan being under pressure all game. I'm going to go Matt Ryan.
Gonna go Matt Ryan too. I mean, you got to like Dalton's matchup, but I do trust Matt Ryan a little bit more. And I think they might try to get Kamara involved more. So you can't ever project a big game for Dalton.
No.
Look, the Vikings have their bottom 5 pass defense now. Fantasy points to quarterbacks. That means something. So I got Ryan too. Parker, Judy, Slayton, or Burkhardt for the flex. Parker is hurt. I don't think you can even consider Parker.
Parker's out, so you can't consider him. I know Judy's coming off that big game, but man, with Brett Rippon, I can't do it. I can't do it. Burkhead, let me see how he's used. I'm gonna go with Slayton here. Slayton does have that big game upside. I mean, he's boom bust, but so are a lot of these guys. I'm gonna go with Slayton.
I'm going Slayton. Yep. All right, and then Dustin Ballard in full PPR, Zonovan Swift or Damian Harris. I feel like this is easy.
I'm going Swift, man. This is win or go home. I need guys who can win my weeks. I don't need guys who can give me 10 points. 10 points, what do you freaking do? That doesn't help you win. I mean, it doesn't help. Whatever. Give me Swift. Give me Swift. I'm gambling. Gambling on Swift. Let's go.
Go with Swift. I mean, not a great matchup, but again, talked about this way back. I know it's about 2 hours ago now, but the very beginning, talking about Bam Knight and the situation there with, of course, Zach Wilson, but also Detroit defense somehow, some way, is now one of the best run defenses in the league over the past month. Like, go figure. They shut down like Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley. So you can't feel great about Knight. Rifari Cooper, what is up? Should start Garrett Wilson or Terry McLaurin?
Well, here I'll definitely go Terry McLaurin. Had 23 points the last time these teams played before the bye. But also Garrett Wilson now has Zach Wilson, which I still think Garrett Wilson is startable if you just are joining us, Rafari. I do think Garrett Wilson is still startable, but certainly the upside is not there anymore with Garrett Wilson. I'll go with Terry.
Yeah. Now, after today's news, you've got to bump Wilson down enough that with Terry, I feel good about Terry. I'll go Terry over Wilson. And then Robert Redmond, no question, just wanted to show some appreciation. 13-1, number 1 seed, and a bye.
13-1.
Nice. That's a team.
Yeah. 13-1.
This is a good time for me to plug the videos that just dropped because, guys, we're also doing, besides our usual start sit and, of course, this show where we talk start sit, we're doing something new this year, Playoff Heroes. Guys are kind of like those sleepers, not the same as Booms, right? The Booms are the guys we think would go off, kind of guys are always in that flex conversation. This is more like the sneaky sleepers, right? Those guys that you're not sure about. A lot of the guys you're asking us about now, the Chris Moores, those types of players. So check that out. I have to say, some great work on the thumbnail there too. Chris's Photoshop skills get better every week. So check that out. And also the early waiver wire, because someone asked a very smart question earlier. I drop a guy I'm not really playing to look ahead to week 17. Yes. Yeah. Look ahead. Get that guy on waivers before somebody else does.
Especially Robert, you're 13-1. You got the bye. If you got guys sitting on your bench, you're never going to start, not Marquise Brown level. Pick some of those guys up. Like I'll say in one of my leagues where I have a bye, where I have Dameon Pierce, I moved him to IR and I stashed Rex Burkhead. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see. Because we've seen Burkhead in the past as a lead back be productive. Because one thing about Burkhead is he'll catch passes. So who knows? Maybe it'll be all Rex Burkhead. So I just pick. If it's not, I drop him next week. No big deal.
I mean,
so definitely,
you never know. You never know. And that's actually a perfect segue to this next question before we get to the next super chat. Okay, so Thomas Cox, love the channel. We need to help him beat his boss in the semifinals. I feel like that's worth. All right, so speaking of Chris Moore, there's that man again. DPJ or Chris Moore, though? Both kind of these sneaky guys that you kind of like. Who do you kind of like better?
I think I trust Peoples-Jones a little bit more. He's got Deshaun Watson. He's looked good with Deshaun Watson so far. I think I think I would go Peoples-Jones here.
It's close. I mean, you say, well, Chris Moore might have the higher ceiling because look what he did last week. But Peoples-Jones was also good. Yeah, I think it's just better to go with Peoples-Jones. I don't want to see a whole bunch of Jeff Driscoll in there running it, short yardage packages and whatever. So I like Chris Moore this week, but I'll go Peoples-Jones a little bit over him. Seth Hartman, playoff lineup thoughts, half PPR. So he plays 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, 4 flexes. Good Lord. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So you got Fields and Brady on the bench. That's fine. Okay. Adams, Hop, Kamara, Pacheco, and Njoku, Juju, Cooper, Mike Williams, and Godwin. On the bench, would you put Etienne over Kamara or Pacheco? I don't think I would. In fact, I know I wouldn't.
Probably not.
And then Foreman or Rashad White.
No, not those guys.
Okay, and then would you put Slayton over any of those flex plays? Godwin, no. Mike Williams, definitely not. Cooper, no. Juju?
No, I don't think so, because I do think, against Houston, I think there's going to be chances for Juju. Slayton, yeah, he can do it, but we see games like last week or, whatever, where it's like he doesn't do anything. So I think I'll leave it how you have it.
It's a great matchup for Juju going against Houston. So, yeah. And I don't mind Godwin. I mean, Slayton and Godwin, maybe, but I'm going to go Godwin there. I don't think you have any changes to make. I think your lineup is not only set right, I think it's pretty good for this week. I mean, Cooper and Williams alone as flex, they have boom potential. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned this, Bullock, because our guy Gus, who's in the Patreon, talking about his lineup, and I said, if there's a change I make is maybe take the Buffalo kicker out. Then Bass has been solid, obviously, with Buffalo offense, but it's a snow game, and so pick up a guy in a dome or a good weather game like Dicker, the kicker. So, yeah, I would do that. I would bench Bass and pick up Dicker. Defy Dior again. Etienne, White, Fournette, or Ramondre.
Well, if Ramondre plays, you play him. Unless we hear something like he's a game-time decision, they're going to test out the ankle, because you don't want to hear that for a running back, right? You don't want to hear that for a running back. But if he plays and he sounds good to go, I think you play Stevenson. Otherwise, I think I still got to go Etienne over White and Fournette. Like, White and Fournette just kill each other. They just kill each other. Like, yeah, they'll both catch like 5+ passes, but what else are they really going to do? So Stevenson if he plays and is healthy, otherwise Etienne for me.
Yeah, of this group, you want to start Stevenson if he does play. And you're right. If I felt better about the matchup, but not a good spot for White or Fournette, you're really just hoping for the pass catching. And like you said, he'll catch 5, he'll catch 4. It's like, yeah. In this case, I guess to just go Etienne only if Stevenson sits. And then Sapphire smoking now with another question. Tannehill, Dalton, or Ryan?
I'm going Ryan again over these guys. Tannehill, fine. Dalton, fine. But they're just fine. I mean, Ryan, at least, he's had some 300+ yard games, some 2-3 touchdown games this year. Against the Vikings offense. Also, the Colts, I think, are down 2 of their starting corners, if I'm not mistaken. So this could be a game where Cousins and Jefferson, I mean, they always go off, but this could be a game where they really go off. And the Colts are forced to throw more than they want to. They're forced to throw it a ton. So I'm going Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's one of those guys you never really love starting in like a fantasy league, but obviously these are your choices. You kind of have to. But he's maybe that sneaky DFS play this week, a discount quarterback. And then London or Parker. I mean, it has to be London because Parker's...
Well, it's got to be... Yeah, Parker's out, so your decision's made for
you. Stephen B. I appreciate that. And we appreciate you. Is that a perfect dark? Tell me that says perfect dark.
I think it does. Is that a video game or something?
Oh, yes, it is. Nintendo 64, I already said, was the best console ever, and that was... GoldenEye was really the game because, of course, 007, but that was like the actually better game that came after it. All right. Shout out to Steven for the perfect dark avatar. 12-team PPR, need to start 3. Lamb, yes. Williams, yes. Wilson, Smith, Cooper.
I'm going Cooper. Lamb and Williams, yes. Got to start them. I'm going Cooper as my third. Again, Garrett Wilson with Zach Wilson. Still startable, but you got to worry about the ceiling. I do really like Devonta Smith this week, but I'm a little nervous about the cold. But also, he has a high ceiling, but I don't know if Cooper's got that massive, week winning ceiling. So give me those 3 guys.
Yeah. Last night, the answer would have been Garrett Wilson, but as it stands, it's now Cooper. And you're not really gambling. I mean, those are all good options.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but go with Cooper. He definitely has a high ceiling. And then let's see. I haven't followed the conversation, but Tristram, what up, Tristram? Always in the chat here. Like some George Clinton. Yeah, that counts. That's definitely good stuff. Make my funk the P Funk. All right. Goddard or Chig? Worried about Goddard off injury. How worried are you?
Not worried enough to play Chig. Like I said, like I think you were saying, like Njoku's kind of the cutoff for me. So you'd have like Kelsey, of course, Schultz, Hawkinson, Njoku, Kittle's already played, and then I think that's probably where I'd have Goddard. So I'm starting Goddard over Chig.
Yeah, that's the thing is we don't really know. I mean, have they said? I don't really remember hearing anything either way about Goddard.
Well, that's
this week, late in the week at least.
That's the thing about players on IR is they don't have to put him on the injury report. But he has practiced all week. But they have until 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to activate him. So we won't know until tomorrow. So, I mean, I don't think Tennessee plays tomorrow, do they? I don't think Tennessee's one of the games tomorrow.
No, they play Sunday. So yeah,
you can wait to see if he's activated or not. But if Goddard's activated tomorrow, I'm playing him over Chig.
Yeah, if he's active, and what I've seen is he's likely to play. Okay, well, great. That's not super helpful, but signs point to him playing, and I think that I would have to start him. Yeah. All right, so we got two boys and their scary pops. Okay, but the message was back here. Burrow, Eckler, Pollard, Diggs, Schultz, Slayton, Chris Moore, and need a flex and another receiver. Okay, so wait, is this your starting lineup? Diggs, Schultz, Slayton, Moore. Okay, so I guess we need to flex the receiver out of these: Rachaad White, Dotson, Skoranek, James Cook, Okonkwo, Michael Carter.
Well, I'll play Dotson in this case. Your choices are Dotson and Skoranek. I'm not playing Skoranek. Let me see it again with Baker Mayfield and against a tough Packers secondary in basically almost 0-degree weather. Yeah, I'll go with Dotson. And then at flex, I guess I'm going Rachaad White. I mean, I don't like James Cook. Okonkwo's fine, but I don't know if I want to flex Okonkwo. Michael Carter, no. I'm going to go Rachaad White at the flex.
Yeah. On these choices, then I guess I would go Rachaad White and then Dotson, I guess, a receiver. All right. And now you're just bragging. He's saying you got to meet Dan Marino in person. I hope you have not washed that hand if you shook his hand ever since.
Well, was he wearing isotoners or no?
Oh, that's a good question. He should have been. All right. Johnny with another one. Pick two. Patterson, Aaron Jones, B-Rob, Knight.
I'm going Jones and Robinson. I'm not starting Patterson. And Knight's fine. But again, we talked about it. Detroit's been tough against the run recently. Brian Robinson in a good spot. Jones not in a good spot, but we know what Jones can do. We know his upside. We know his pass catching. I'm going Jones and Robinson.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Jones and Robinson. And then pick three, Diggs. Yeah. Cooper, Wilson, D-Hop, Evans.
I'm going Diggs, Cooper, and D-Hop. I know it's a tough matchup for D-Hop, but still, he's so good. And I'm not worried about like Colt McCoy necessarily. He'll still get a zillion targets. Given that Wilson has Wilson and Evans has Brady, I'm going D-Hop.
Yeah. Not too worried about D-Hop this week. And even though I'm kind of worried about Wilson, I still put him over Evans. So those first, well, Diggs and Cooper for sure.
Yeah.
And then D-Hop. Yeah, I'll go D-Hop as the third one. And we got two from Shrek 2 again. Eagles or Pats D?
I think you got to go Eagles D. I don't mind the Patriots D, but I mean, yeah, Eagles D is great. And I mean, there's always a chance, Fields runs in a touchdown, but he also will throw interceptions. He'll also take sacks. I think you got to go Eagles.
Yeah. Going Eagles for sure. They've been rolling, and they got more pieces back on the defensive line. Taysom or Chig? Are you going Taysom in any format?
No, definitely Chig here. I'm not starting Taysom Hill. I'd probably rather start Jeff Driscoll than Taysom Hill, to be honest.
Well, like legit question, because I really don't know. Like, when's the last time Taysom Hill really did something, fantasy relevant?
Has he done anything since that 4-touchdown game when everybody lost their minds and thought he was like a league-winning tight end?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember. Like, maybe I think he scored like a random touchdown a few weeks ago, but has he done anything?
Okay, in week 13 against Tampa Bay, he did catch a touchdown. But that's it.
All right. Yeah.
So he had that one game in week 5 against Seattle, and then he had a game against Atlanta in week 1. He got 15 points. So maybe that's the thing here, is because they're playing Atlanta again. But yeah, I'm not trusting it.
Last week, Chig had a touchdown. So
yeah. Going Chig.
I'll go with a guy who's actually a tight end. All right, Dudone saying McKinnon feels like a trap. So with that said, McKinnon, B-Rob, or Foreman?
No, I think I'm going Robinson over these guys. Robinson and Foreman kind of the same, high volume guys, won't really catch any passes, have potential touchdown upside, but Robinson has a better matchup. I'm going Robinson.
Going Robinson too. We've already talked about, kind of like him. He was good against the Giants, who are bad against the run.
Yeah.
And then Wang, should I start one full PPR, Adam Thielen, Chris Moore, or Van Jefferson? First time we've heard that name.
I'm going Chris Moore. Adam Thielen, Van Jefferson against that Packers secondary, Chris Moore against the Chiefs. Chiefs, not a good secondary. Let's be real. They're not. I mean, they just gave up 3 touchdowns to Jerry Jeudy. What? I'm sorry, what?
They let Russ cook for the first time all year.
Yeah, I'm going Chris Moore.
I'm going Chris Moore too, guys. If you've seen the video, you know he's one of those sneaky playoff heroes. Sapphire smoking with another. Patriots or Packers?
Here I'll go the Packers. I just feel like they have more upside, and that's the thing. If you're gonna roll the defense, choose the one that has the most upside, because getting a defense giving you 8 points, that's not gonna change the outcome of your week. But if the Packers put up 15 or 20, they can win. That could win your week, getting a defensive performance like that. I just don't see the Patriots having that kind of upside. I'm going Packers.
Yeah, I'm going Packers too. And I already talked about playing Baker Mayfield. Look, I know Derek Carr was awful last week. This is what he does. Every few games, he has a really bad game, and then every few games, he has a good one, and it's mostly mediocre. Elsewhere. They're at home. Maybe they're not making the playoffs, but I think they'll be fine. I don't think they're going to be terrible. So I'm not expecting the Raiders just kind of roll over. Oh, sorry. Wait, there was another one. Jameson Williams or Drake London?
I think it's got to be Drake London. I know Jameson Williams had that huge catch, which, by the way, another reason why you should be kind of excited about Matt Ryan this week, because now he gets that Viking secondary who did not cover Jameson Williams, but he still only played 19% of the snaps. He only had 2 targets in that game. I mean, you're really hoping Jameson Williams hits a home run. And that's his only chance. At least Drake London is the number 1 target there. Yeah, maybe it won't happen with Desmond Ridder, but at least he's going to get probably 7-8 targets. I'm going Drake London.
Yeah, Jameson Williams had that 1 catch. That is still his only catch in the NFL. Had 2 targets. The week before, he had 1 target. Maybe this week he'll get 3 targets. I'm not going for that.
No.
Definitely Drake London. Stephen Reyna wants to know, do y'all really like Deshaun Watson this week versus Baltimore over Brady?
Yes.
Yes. T-Law?
Yes.
Matt Ryan?
Yes.
Daniel Jones?
Definitely.
And Davis Mills?
Yes.
Yeah. Over all those, how great can we feel about Brady these days, honestly?
Against Cincinnati? Yeah.
And then Lawrence against Dallas, not a great matchup. Matt Ryan, a great matchup, but it's still Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Deshaun Watson. Better weapons, best matchup by far. And then Jason Rodriguez needs quarterback. Tua, Lawrence, Cousins. All right, Jones, Watson, Brady, or Rodgers. All right, now this is a little more interesting. I mean, we put Watson over a lot of those guys, and we can cross out Lawrence, Jones, Brady, Rodgers. To me, it's between Watson, Cousins, maybe Tua. I'm worried about Tua, obviously, in that game.
Yeah.
So I guess Cousins or Watson? Is that the debate for you too?
That's a debate for me too. And it's like Cousins at home. Am I right about that? The Colts are down 2 starting corners this week. Did I see that right?
Let me check. But
I think so. I think the Colts are down 2 of their starting corners. Where is it here?
They've kind of been passing even when they don't need to pass, because they can, because they have Justin Jefferson.
Where's it at here?
Kenny Moore is out. Brandon Faison is doubtful.
Yeah, so they're down 2 of their starting corners. At home, I think I go Cousins over Watson, but it's real. That's close for me. But I think I go Cousins over Watson.
I mean, the question is, Cousins is one of those guys who had been kind of just mediocre-ish, most of the year, and then now he's just alternating between boom or bust. Like, there's been no in between with him the past 5 weeks. Look, 357 yards and then 105. That's right, went from 350 to 105 to 299 with 3 touchdowns to 173 to 425. I mean, that's kind of a yo-yo effect here. And so if you're looking at it as a trend, then maybe he's due for a down game. But I don't know that it's going to be a super high scoring game. I don't kind of like Matt Ryan, but I think I like Watson's upside a little bit better. Like, it's really close between those two. I get Cousins maybe is a safer play. I guess my gut's telling me Watson, so I slightly go. Steve Bateman has Amari Cooper and T. Higgins. Should I start DPJ over one of them?
I can't start him. I can't start Peoples-Jones over Higgins unless we have real confirmation that Higgins is, not close to 100%. I mean, I think Higgins had a quote this week where he's like, I feel good, I'm ready to go, or something like that. So if you had a better option than Peoples-Jones, and I don't dislike Peoples-Jones this week, but he's also risky, I would just keep Cooper and Higgins.
Yeah, Cooper's not on the injury report, is he?
I think he was early in the week, but he's off the injury report now. Yeah, he's off the injury report.
I'm starting Cooper and I'm starting Higgins unless we hear something about Higgins not playing. I know there's risky because he's questionable, but in this case, yeah, I'll go with the first 2. All right, and then Jason with another one. Jason Rodriguez didn't start Walker. Good call. Stevenson, Robinson, Najee, or Knight?
Well, assuming Stevenson plays and they're not doing this testing out the ankle pregame, he's good to go, then you play Stevenson. But if they're doing this he's going to test the ankle out pregame, see how he feels, yeah, I'm not playing. I mean, I know it's hard to bench him, but he just injured that ankle 4 days ago? You know what I mean? Monday night, right? Monday night. So
yeah.
But if he's 100%, I think you got to go Stevenson. Otherwise, I guess I go Najee. Look, I actually had this decision between Brian Robinson and Walker, and I went with Walker, but I don't know. I guess Najee, maybe Robinson. They're really close for me.
Yeah, they are really close. I think I lean Robinson and probably have to play Stevenson if he does play. Although, I don't know. I'm skeptical. All right, and also D-Hop, Kirk, Peoples-Jones, or Watson.
Well, as much as I like D-Hop and Kirk, it's got to be Watson for the reasons I said already. You just don't question it. don't look at the target share. Don't look at the targets. Just don't look at like this is don't. It's not sustainable. But who cares? Just ride it for however long he sustains it. You ride it.
And D Hop again, no reason to be off of him,
Yeah.
but it's not the best spot for him. So
Right.
that you can put Watson over him. And Kirk could go off, but could do nothing. So yeah, keep Watson in there. You got JJ and Chase. You're probably good anyways. And then
Yeah.
Njoku or Goddard.
Again, Njoku's the line for me where I feel good enough about Njoku this week that I won't risk it with Goddard. I'll wait and see. Does he play all the snaps and all that? So I'll go Njoku.
Yeah. Again, assuming Goddard plays. Yeah, I think I still feel better about Njoku.
Man, JJ and Chase, so you might win just from those two guys.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel like it's going to be a smash Chase week. All right. Who should I start? Schultz, Ingram, or the Friar Goat?
Got to go Schultz. I think to me it's like Kelsey then Schultz this week.
Yep.
Top two tight ends.
Definitely going Schultz. And then on flex, Higgins, McKinnon, Najee, B-Rob, or Rashad White.
See, again, since your options are these guys, risky guys, low upside guys. I mean, I know McKinnon has an upside, but he's also a huge risk. I'll just play Higgins.
Yeah, I don't see either of these guys, any of these guys, surpassing what Higgins could do. So if Higgins is ruled out, again, I'll go with B-Rob.
Yeah.
Would you go Najee though? Or
yeah, to me, Brian Robinson, Najee, flip a coin. Pick your poison.
Yeah. They're probably going to get like the same amount of points anyways. So.
Yeah. They're probably going to end up with the same amount of points as Walker. unless one of them scores, honestly.
That's probably about right. Okay, and then Sick Nasty with the Venom. Chuba over Rashad White.
I don't think I can do it. I mean, I know Chuba was more involved last week, but man, yeah, at least we know White is getting those receptions. And look, White did out carry Fournette last week 13-5. I know it's Cincy. I know it's a tough matchup, but last week was a tough matchup too against San Francisco, and he ran for 50-something yards on only 13 carries. So I'm still going Rashad White over Chuba.
Yeah, I'm not putting that much faith in Chuba. And look, Pittsburgh has been better lately on run defense. They don't give up a lot of passing yards to running backs, and that's kind of what Chuba's role is, his niche in this offense. So yeah, I'd go Rashad White too. What is up, George? George Brennan. All right, one running back, one flex. We got Pacheco, Monty, White, Knight, Watson, and DPJ. All right.
This is easy for me. Pacheco at running back, Watson at flex. Let's go.
Way too easy. Yes, definitely Pacheco, and you have to start Watson. Sack Kenneth Walker yesterday. Good choice. What do you think based on those running backs?
Well, because Pacheco is one of those guys that I would have sat Walker for. Like Monty, White, Knight. To me, it's okay. They could get you 10 or 11 or 12 just as easily as Walker can. But with Pacheco, I do really like this week. So since you had Pacheco, yeah, good choice.
Yeah, and he didn't get you nothing, mainly because he did catch 4 passes, which was unexpected. But you want more upside if possible. So look, it could be worse. There's one league where I have George Kittle on my bench. So go figure. He was a flex because it's one of our end-game leagues where tight ends are optional.
So. Yeah.
Manny, Malcolm, full PPR, ETN or Dobbins.
Look, I'm still going Etienne. Maybe I'm too hard-headed, too stubborn. I don't know why. I feel like it's going to be a Etienne week, and I feel like it's going to be a Dobbins letdown week. Maybe I'm wrong.
This is where we strongly disagree and throw down because Chris refuses to play Dobbins. No. I've always just been a little sketchier about Etienne all year. Not really to fully buy in. And look, I don't really actually like Dobbins any better than you, but at least I feel like there's a path there. I just feel like there's not. I don't feel like Etienne bounces back. I actually feel he does worse this week. So that's just me. All right, and then Mitch, Goddard, or Njoku again.
in this question a lot. And Njoku's that line for me where it's like, again, I'll wait and see. Does Goddard play all his snaps?
But then here's an interesting twist on it.
No.
Would you flex one of them instead of Etienne?
I can't. No, I'm going Njoku and Etienne personally.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, look, at tight end, if you don't have one of those top whatever it is now, there's like Kelsey, Kittle if you played him, hopefully you did. Schultz, Njoku. Who am I missing? Maybe one other tight end who's
maybe
kind of
Hawkinson. Okay. But even then, like those guys, like even Kittle, like people were really worried about playing Kittle this week because he had done nothing for 2 straight weeks. So
yeah, well, exactly.
Kelsey. Let's just be real. It's Kelsey. It's Kelsey. The only person who feels good about their tight end is the one who has Kelsey. That is it. That is
right. Yeah, Hawkinson, I guess. I mean, I would feel good enough to play Goddard if I have him, if he plays, which again hasn't been activated yet. But I wouldn't flex him over Etienne. I don't think so. So start Njoku, start Etienne, and then wait a week for Goddard because you do have a good tight end. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Alexander Courtney, Kmet, Ingram, or Goddard if he plays.
Well,
is Kmet below that line?
Kmet's a little too far down for me. So if Goddard is activated, I'm going Goddard.
Yes. The line is, I think, Njoku and then Kmet, right? Goddard's like right there. He's like the dividing line.
Yeah.
It could be a big Kmet week, but it's not necessarily a big Kmet week. The Bears could just score like 3 points this week.
It's also the Eagles who are pretty tough. Well, they're pretty tough against everything, but definitely tough against tight ends. So
exactly. All right, Heisenberg, Dobbins or Devontae Smith at the flex.
Well, this makes it easy for me to bench Dobbins. I like Devontae Smith a lot this week. I'm going with Smith.
I mean, yes, the matchup, and that's why I think Dobbins is definitely a solid RB2. But man, Devontae Smith has just been on fire. It's the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel good enough. And, I guess you didn't say if it's PPR, but I'm assuming, probably half or full. But yeah.
Yeah. If
in this case,
I'll go scoring, then I'll go Dobbins. Only if it's standard scoring, though.
All right. Well, there's something. Make a little progress. All right. Just living life. Got Watson, AJ Brown, Judy, Jacob, Monty, Dulcich, DPJ at the flex. Okay. I think we might make some changes here. Benches Swift, McKinnon, Deontay Johnson, Lazard, and Kmet. What do you do?
Well, so you only play one running back? I'm definitely playing Swift over Montgomery. Like I just don't see a lot of upside for Montgomery this week. Very tough matchup. I'd rather gamble on Swift, giving me even when Swift has been limited, he's still giving you like something. He's not giving you nothing. And this could be a game where Monty only gives you like 10 points or something. So yeah. I'm going Swift over Monty. AJ Brown.
And then you got to put Kmet over Dulcich.
Yeah, definitely got to do Kmet over Dulcich. I'm trying to figure out if I can get Judy out of this lineup.
Your options would be Lazard or not Deontay Johnson. Lazard. Or you could flex McKinnon and put DPJ at receiver. Would you like McKinnon or Lazard over Judy?
I mean, I definitely like DPJ more than Judy, so I would move DPJ to wide receiver. But then it still comes down. I don't think I can flex McKinnon. I know McKinnon's coming off the big game, but I mean, it's not like we've never, ever, ever in the history of fantasy football seen a guy have a big game and then do nothing the next week. Like that's never happened before.
No,
never. And like, do you believe the 9 targets he got last week, or do you believe the 2 or 3 he's gotten all season long every game? Like, I'm going to go for the 2 or 3. Do I like Lazard more than Judy though?
Yeah, I don't know. In this case, I might keep Judy in there.
Yeah, I think in this case I'll keep Judy. So So basically, keep it as it is, except I'm personally playing Swift over Montgomery. I just don't see a path to upside for Montgomery.
Yeah, same thing. Swift over Monty. I'll go Kmet over Dulcich, and I guess
and Kmet over Dulcich, definitely.
Nick wants to know, how are our fantasy leagues best and worst records? I don't know if we have time to cover all that.
I don't know my best. I think my best record, I had 2 or 3 losses. I made the playoffs in 6 out of 7, and I had 2 buys. So not bad. Not bad.
I didn't
get in like 15 leagues, so I don't know. You might have to like look all that up.
Yeah, I got a couple buys, and there's a couple leagues I thought I was going to get a buy, and I didn't. My best record right now, I'm 11-3 in one league. Actually, and I'm also in a league which is really interesting, different format. It's called All 22. Remember, we met them at the Fantasy Football Expo.
Oh yeah.
And so it's what it sounds like. You play a full lineup: offensive lineman, kicker, punter, defense, all positions, and you make. They had a promo thing, so I joined a league for free because it was free, and I won my division and I got a first round bye, so doing pretty well. It's different, but it's interesting. So we'll see. But I just want to win the King League. That's the only league I really care about.
That's a tough league, man.
And I just lost to you last week.
Yeah.
All right. Vader does TCG. Okay. I have to figure out what that means. Monty or Pacheco, PPR?
Definitely going Pacheco again. Just talked about Montgomery. Like, I don't mind Montgomery, but I just don't see the path to upside for Montgomery this week. The Eagles are healthy on that D-line, that run defense. Remember, early in the year, that run defense was insane. And then Davis, they went down for a while, and the teams were running on him. He was back last week. They looked insane again. I'm not. Yeah, Pacheco more upside. I'm going Pacheco.
All right, we've talked about Monty not having that much upside. I like Pacheco a lot. I go Pacheco. We got Dylan Plath. Kirk Thuggins. He was definitely
we kind of just had this one, right? We had like 7 QB choices, but these were the 2. We narrowed it down. I think I slightly like Cousins more, and he slightly likes Watson more. So all you people in here who are complaining about us agreeing, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, you got Kirk Thuggins or the actual Thug. No, I'm just kidding. He's not.
True,
but not the best either. I go Deshaun Watson, but it's close. It's really close. Let's see. We're almost caught up, by the way, guys. We got about 10 minutes left. So last chance. I'll say this now because if I say it with 5 minutes left, then we still got people chatting in after we've gone off the air. So last chance, get your super chats in. We're going to start answering some of the regular comments as much as we can. And we try to answer as many as we can, but trust me, we're still catching up. So also, this is a good time for me to mention, get this off of here, which, by the way, I agree, Tristan, don't get the B-Rob disrespect either.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I mentioned him in our Heroes video, and I even put him on the thumbnail with a Captain America shield. I don't know.
You did.
I don't know what kind of disrespect we're talking about here, but I mean, look, some people are sensitive, I guess. Like, you gotta, it's like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if Dizzy mean from us
bow down to Brian Robinson.
Dizzy thinking that like we're disrespecting or someone else?
I think he's, because I was saying like these guys are probably all going to score like around the same amount as Ken Walker, which is kind of like exactly what Brian Robinson did the last time they played the Giants. I think he got 13, so he scored like 1 more point than Ken Walker.
Well, all right. So as I was going to say, 10 minutes left. Super chats, get them in now. Last chance to ask your questions. Get them on here. Didn't get your question answered? Well, you can do 2 things. You can join the Discord, ask away. It's free. It's easy. You can ask anytime. Or you can consider becoming a patron and join. The link is in the description below. Patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. We do a start sit show just with our patrons. And we go for 2 full hours right before kickoff when we have all the latest information. We answer questions about all your teams and a lot more. All right. Let's catch up to the super chats here. Ricky Urban, Juju, Etienne, DPJ, or Chris Moore.
Interesting options. I think out of this group, I'm going Juju. I like what I saw last week. He was back playing a ton of snaps. He was involved again. It's Houston. Even though you say, oh, it's Houston, they're just going to run on them. They won't. They got Patrick Mahomes. They'll throw plenty. I'm going Juju out of this group.
I'm saying no to Etienne when you have good options like this. Chris Moore, I like, but again, I'm going deeper for him. I don't think you have to go as deep to see Juju going off against Houston. DPJ is interesting, but yeah, I'll go Juju as well. And then we got Michael Joseph, Najee, T. Higgins, or Foreman, or DPJ. You got to pick one.
I mean, if Higgins plays, I'm playing him out of this group. Because, again, these guys are like, they're fine, but they're not guys I feel like I have to start this week. If Higgins is out or there's worry that, he's less than 100%, then I'd probably go Peoples-Jones.
Of this group, yeah, Higgins is worth waiting for, I suppose. If you get that feeling that he's not right, or he's not going to play, or he's going to be limited, which, of course, Zach Taylor won't let us know. But, yeah, I'll go Higgins, and then DPJ is the backup. NY to Florida, Jets fan. All right. I don't know, if you're in Florida, you shouldn't be a Jets fan. I guess because you're in – all right, half PPR, Foreman, Swift, or Akers?
I'm going Swift. I keep talking about it. Like, I'm looking for guys who can win me my week, or at least put my team in a great position to win this week. Like Foreman, fine. Akers, fine. But I just don't see huge games from those guys. I like the fact that Swift was not on the injury report at all. I think we're going to see a lot of Swift this week. I'm going Swift.
Tempted to put Akers. I am. Tempted to put Akers. Have him. He's on the thumbnail too, isn't he? Yeah, but I don't think I can put him over Swift. Because Swift has that pass catching floor. Akers really hasn't been used as a pass catcher. So I'll put Swift. I like Akers, but yeah, I'll go Swift. And then I'm not sure, John Taylor to RB. You're saying you have Jonathan Taylor? Okay, then start Jonathan Taylor. Two wide receivers, Wilson, Pittman, Jefferson, Lazard, and you need a flex. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're definitely playing Jefferson. You're definitely playing Jefferson. I'm playing Pittman because, again, Wilson stuck with Wilson now. So is he saying, was this supposed to be two running backs and Jonathan Taylor was supposed to be one of the running backs? I think that's what I'm seeing here. So I'm saying Jonathan Taylor and Swift.
Well, because it said Foreman, Swift, or Akers. So it made it to me, I'm assuming we're choosing of those guys.
Yeah.
So we picked Swift.
Okay. Well, Jonathan Taylor and Swift, Pittman and Jefferson for me. And I'd probably still flex Wilson. I still think he's an okay start. It's Detroit. Yeah, he doesn't have the ceiling he used to have with Mike White. But, Foreman and Akers, to me, they don't really have ceilings either. And Lazard definitely doesn't have a ceiling. So I'd probably still go Wilson in the flex.
Yep. Same with me. Jefferson, of course, no brainer. Pittman, like him a lot this week. Wilson is still startable. Lazard. Then Vikas Advani. In PPR, pick 2. Lazard, Slayton, Elijah Moore, Chris Moore, Pickens.
I'm crossing off Elijah Moore and Pickens. Pickens wasn't even doing anything with Pickett, even when they play like the Falcons. Now with Trubisky or Rudolph, no thank you. Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson, no thank you. So definitely Chris Moore out of this group, which is crazy to say that Chris Moore is the definite. And then I'd probably go Slayton. I think Lazard is okay, but again, he's just okay. Like, give me that upside potential of Slayton. So I'm going Slayton and Chris Moore.
I'm also going Slayton and Chris Moore. And then at the flex, Dobbins or Rachaad White.
Here I'll probably go Dobbins as much as it pains me. Just because, again, like, Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette just kill each other. Like, yeah, look, Rachaad White in PPR is probably going to get you like 12-ish points. But he's only going to get you like 12-ish points because Dobbins in a good matchup. I don't love him this week, but at least he has some upside. I'm going Dobbins.
I hope everyone got this watching now because, like, you don't love necessarily hate players themselves, but there's probably no player that you were on or touting more during the preseason than Rachaad White. And there's no player I know that you were off and just not having any part of more than Dobbins. But you just picked Dobbins over White. So don't let anybody ever say that Chris is biased or you hate this guy or love this guy. It's about winning, right? It's about winning.
Yeah, it's about what's happening right now. Like, yeah, like exactly. Like, look, yeah, it's about what's happening right now. Like, if Rachaad White owned that backfield, it'd be Rachaad White easily, but he doesn't. He's stuck splitting with Leonard Fournette. So at least Dobbins has a good matchup and has some upside. So I'm going Dobbins.
All right, I'm going Dobbins, and then. Don't let it be said that I am so biased and so colorblind with the teal and the aqua that I would always go with my Dolphins. I'm going to go Watson over Tua this week.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Welcome back, Henry. Henry Odom needs one between Akers, Fournette, Swift, and McKinnon. Well,
again, I keep picking Swift, and look, I mean, maybe I'm taking too many chances, but if you remember a couple weeks ago on our Booms video, I said start DeAndre Swift. That worked out pretty well. He wasn't on the injury report at all that week. He was fully healthy. He seems to be fully healthy again. These guys are just like Akers, Fournette, McKinnon. Like, they're fine. Like, yeah, you need them. Start them if you need them, right? We had at the beginning, start them if you need them kind of guys. But Swift has the upside that none of these guys have. I'm going Swift.
Yeah, I want to say Akers, but I think it does need to be Swift out of these guys. So go Swift. I mean, he at least gives you a floor. I mean, I don't think it's going to be his best game, but I don't think it's going to be his worst. Alexander Courtney, hello again. All right, Kirk, Peoples-Jones, or Garrett Wilson?
Well, here I'm going Kirk. Again, it's a good matchup for him. He's got that ceiling. Peoples-Jones I do like, but I mean, yeah, he's a lower down. And Wilson, again, with Zach Wilson now, just doesn't have the upside of Kirk. So I'm going Kirk.
I'm going Kirk. Again, asked me last night. It would have been Garrett Wilson, but got to just put him down just enough with Zach Wilson. Yeah, I'll go Kirk. Kirk could have a big game.
Yep.
AJ Hall, Kirk, or Watson, though? You got to start.
Well, AJ, I don't know how long you've been with us, but if you heard me talking about Watson tonight, you just play him. You just play him. And if it ends this week, then it ends this week. But just cannot have that guy on my bench at this point. No way. I'm starting him.
Yeah, until further notice, if you watched our wide receiver start sit, we have Christian Watson is just set and forget. Just go with it and see what happens. And then Chris Moore or Christian Kirk. It's got to be Kirk.
Got to be Kirk still. I mean, I do like Chris Moore, but he's not on that tier. Yeah, he's not on that tier.
And
he's asking if Garrett will. Yeah, he's startable, but that's how I would label him. He's startable. His upside is gone, unfortunately, but he's startable.
Yeah, I mean more of a wide receiver 3, really, which is hard to believe. And then let's see, we're almost there, almost caught up. I think we almost Last of the super chats, we got Blake Gold, pick 2, Murray, Patterson, Dobbins, Kamara, or Cooper.
In PPR, I mean, even if it wasn't PPR, I'd probably still go Cooper, but definitely Cooper in PPR. I'd like Cooper a lot this week. They're at home. They get Baltimore, who's much better against the run than the pass. They're a pass funnel defense. Deshaun Watson looked good enough last week. Now that he's at home, he'll actually have the crowd behind him instead of against him. The media behind him. I like Cooper this week.
Got to start Cooper. And then we're picking 2 between Dobbins and Kamara.
Oh, we're picking 2. I'm going Kamara. I'm gambling on the matchup against the Falcons and the Saints actually figuring out how to get him involved again.
Since it's PPR, again, there's risk here with Kamara, but I think I'll go with Kamara just because you should get about as much as what Dobbins could get, hopefully. All right, that was the last of super chats. So real quick, guys, since we're at the 3-hour mark, let's do a super fast lightning round. The lightning
Let's do it.
round. Try to answer some questions from guys we haven't even heard about yet, if we can find any. So let us see. Oh, that's a tough one. Evans or Etienne? I guess we already talked about them. Frank Carbone.
Yeah, oh, man. I'd probably go Evans if it's PPR.
Yeah, I'm out on Etienne, so I will go with Evans. Let's see some different guys. And then we're tight end questions.
Yeah, a lot of tight end questions.
Well, let's do a Texans 2-for-1.
All right, let's do it.
Chris Moore or Rex Burkhead?
Definitely Chris Moore. Rex Burkhead is one of those guys, like, I'm okay if you want to stash him and see how he's used, but we know Chris Moore 11 targets last week, and that was when they were winning. Now I know we said they should be losing to the Cowboys, but they should definitely be losing to the Chiefs this week and have to throw a ton. And the Chiefs are a worse secondary than the Cowboys. Got to be Chris Moore.
I agree. And then Jessica Newman, kind of talked about these. I just want to hear you say Dobbins one more time. Bam or Dobbins?
Yeah, I guess slightly Dobbins. It's close.
Go Dobbins. All right, Woke Nick. Hollywood, Mark Andrews, or Paris Campbell? There's a guy we haven't heard about.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. This is much tougher than it should be.
But yeah. I think if it's my team, I'm going Hollywood. I mean, Paris Campbell is interesting because of the matchup, but I mean, he's Paris Campbell. Like,
yeah.
I think I'd rather start Alec Pierce than Paris Campbell. At least Alec Pierce has some upside. If I was going to start like a deep Colts receiver, Andrews, I mean, yeah, Tyler Huntley's playing. That's great. But what have we seen from Andrews to make you excited? I know Hollywood gets Denver, but he's still getting a ton of targets. He's still getting the usage. I think I go Hollywood out of this group. But, man, this is tough.
I mean, we're barely starting Mark Andrews at tight end. You're not going to start him over a receiver at flex. Paris Campbell, look, maybe a sneaky pick, but I'll just go with Hollywood. And I don't feel good about Hollywood, but I'd still put him over Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
How about this? Mahomes or Hurts in 6-point touchdown leagues?
I mean, I don't even think that really matters for Hurts anymore because he's throwing so many touchdowns.
No.
I guess my only worry for Hurts, if there's a worry, is that they could just like run all over the Bears and not throw as much because they don't have to. Whereas Mahomes, they're going to look, even though it's the Texans, the Chiefs are still going to throw it 30 plus times. They don't care. They're going to throw it 30 plus times. I think I would have Mahomes slightly ahead of Hurts, but I could go either way on this. I could go either way.
To me, Hurts is the QB1 until further notice because he does. Mahomes is running it more this year, but still, it's Jalen Hurts. I think it's got to be Jalen Hurts. And then a very different quarterback question. In a two-quarterback league, we definitely haven't heard anybody ask, should they start Zach Wilson, Taylor Heineke, Derek Carr?
I can't ever start Zach Wilson. I can't recommend Derek Carr against the Patriots. I'm going Heineke.
All right, well, I don't know if I can start Heineke. I know I'm not starting Zach Wilson. In this case, I might just go Carr. In this case, because at least he could do something. Heineke just doesn't have a ceiling to me. Not that Carr has much of one. Sapphire Smoking, sneak one in there under the gun. Pick 3, Judy, Palmer, Etienne, London, Campbell. Another Paris Campbell question.
Judy, Palmer, Etienne, London. So out of this group, I'm going Etienne. Like Judy, Palmer, London, Campbell. It's not like you feel great about any of these guys. So I'm just going to chase the Etienne again. One thing about Dallas is teams do run the ball on them. Yeah, Dameon Pierce had an okay game last week. I think Etienne can do that. I'm going Etienne.
Well, we got to pick 3 of these guys, unfortunately.
Oh, we got to pick 3?
Yes, and yeah, unfortunately. In this case, I will pick Etienne as one. I would go London as another.
Yeah, go London. He has some potential with Ritter. And then I'd probably still go Palmer because, I mean, Palmer was still involved last week, and it's the Titans. They're one of the worst against the pass, against wide receivers. There could be enough here for Keenan, Mike Williams, and Palmer this week. So I'd go Palmer as my third in this case.
Yeah, I'll go Palmer because of the matchup also. All right, last couple here. Hunter Henry, Dawson Knox.
Oh, jeez. I guess I'll go Knox. At least he scored last week. Hunter Henry couldn't even score against the Cardinals. I'll go Knox.
That was I said it. This was your last week to have any interest in Hunter Henry, and he didn't even do anything. So Knox, Gabe or Foreman in the flex.
Definitely Foreman. I'm not playing Gabe Davis this week. No way.
No. And then B-Sir with the last one. Pick 2, Waddle, Higgins, Watson, Pacheco.
Well, definitely Watson. And then I'm going to say if Higgins plays and it sounds like he's fine, Higgins. If he doesn't go, or it sounds like maybe they're going to, bamboozle us again with this one snap nonsense, can I start Pacheco over Waddle? Can I do it? Am I that low on Waddle? I think I might.
PPR.
I think I might go Pacheco. It's not risky with Waddle in that weather. Yeah, I might go Watson and Pacheco if Higgins is out.
If you're going Pacheco over those, then so am I, because Higgins, I think with these options, I can play it kind of safe here. Watson, you have to start. Yeah, Watson and Pacheco. There it is. All right, that'll put a wrap on this edition of Start Sit, and this is for week 15. Thanks for joining us, guys. Next week will also be on Friday night because there are a lot of games on Saturday next week. We'll also be here on Sunday morning with our patrons. If you're interested in that, you see the link down there, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. You can see what that's about. And Sunday night for some instant reaction. And then, of course, Tuesday night, we're on all the time, all season long and all off season long, so you can find out. Hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time we are live. Speaking of, if anybody here is interested, I'm going to jump on a quick live stream as well with my wife, who has her own YouTube channel. It's called Velma's Essence. If you like fragrances, if you just want to hang out, if you want to put a football question in there and just to put her on the spot and throw her off, that would be fun. All right. So we'll see you guys on Sunday or hopefully in the Discord. Good luck this week.